love, exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. Yeah, all right. Oh my. Yeah, hold up. Matter of fact, stand up.
I had to make sure that everyone saw it.
Yeah. This is the Wrestling Council shirt. Let me do that. Oh yeah, see? This is an actual Wrestling Council shirt in full purview, as it will, if you will, as the man Dusty Rhodes used to say. All right. Well, welcome.
I love the green. Loving the green of it too.
Yeah. All right. This is episode 6 of the JillStream. As always, I am your host, Antonio Bryce. I am a comic book creator, and I have a little small book called Brand Way of the Gun. It's the sequel to.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to interrupt you and say right off the bat, if anyone's looking for Brand for their book to ship, DM or email Antonio.
And they always show up.
Because there's going to be at least one. So just thought I'd say it off the top. If anyone,
but I'm getting the next shipment will go out in the morning. So I'm getting that ready. So if anybody, I'm sure there are people that would like to be on it. If you are one of those people, I am happy to add you to the list and put you on the shipment for tomorrow. So yes, I did say
out of the way.
Yes, but they're still here and they will show up. But okay, so this is the JillStream. I met Jill because she is the missus of this gentleman here, Mr. Yule Carter. They are in long-term domestic bliss, and oh Lord, I have no idea what you're talking about. I know who Edward James almost is, though. Battlestar Galactica, was American Me.
Edward James almost dead, or am I wrong?
Is he gone now? Is he no longer with us?
I'm probably super wrong.
I know he's Commander Adamo on Battlestar Galactica. That's why I was like, I know that. That's why I was like, but I remember him from American Me. He was one of the gangsters. They was doing that thing.
Born no death date. So, like I said, I'm wrong.
Okay, so he's still alive. Thank you. Okay, I was like, okay, Dr. Johnny is causing us to commit internet. Well, never mind. I don't want to say things that are anyway. All right. Yeah. So the topic for today's show, 1 week ago, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith sat down at the red table. There were the explosive allegations at the time that August Alsina made with Angela Yee. And they sat down with Angela Yee, and people were like, "Oh no, he's lying."
What is Angela Yee from? Like, is it a show or a publication?
Angela Yee is one of 3 co-hosts for The Breakfast Club, which is part of iHeartRadio. The Breakfast Club is one of the largest morning shows in the nation. Although the interview that she conducted with him was done on August Alsina's personal YouTube channel. I mean, and it got hundreds of thousands of views, but he alleged that he had been in a romance with Jada Pinkett Smith, and that Will Smith had gave him the cosign on it. He did that Isaac on him. He gave him the Isaac. He was like, hey, it's all good, man. Go on, get your thing in there, do what you do, player. And then Jada put out a statement, or her people put out a statement and said it wasn't quite true. And then she said that she needed to go to the red table. So
the red table is her show.
Yes, Red Table Talk. Normally, she's got some huge mega deal. Although, and I know her. Facebook has been extraordinarily happy with the ratings that she's been getting on Red Table.
So it's primarily a Facebook thing.
It's Facebook's trying to. They had a couple of big stars that they signed to exclusive deals. They had a a show with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady had his kids. You know, it's kind of showing his how Tom Brady trains in the off season and all this kind of stuff, which is kind of strange because that ended up being Tom Brady's last season with the Patriots. But they like all during the off season, he was training and showing his kids and his wife and all this kind of thing. And you know, kind of how Tom Brady is Tom Brady when he's not around. So Facebook has all these different shows that they're using. They're trying to compete with some of these other streaming services, Netflix and you know, hell, Spotify is going to start showing videos next year. That is part of why Joe Rogan has his big $100 million deal. He's taking his videos, his content is, from what I understand, is not going to be available. I don't know if he's going to shut his YouTube channel down, but his streaming content is going, at least the new stuff is going to be on Spotify now.
There were a couple podcasts that I listened to that went Spotify only.
I know Joe Budden. I used to
love that.
The Joe Budden podcast, which is if you like hip hop, Joe Budden's podcast. He signed a big deal with them with Spotify, and they, you know, like I said, they're going to start having video next year. I know they're testing it now.
I do have Spotify. I will admit I do have Spotify, so it's not that big of a deal. But
I just do free Spotify, so that's, you know, I do where I can just stream and listen to podcasts and stuff like that. So the big thing. Jada, you know, she set this deal up like about a year and a half, 2 years ago, where she came up with this show, Red Table Talk, and it's basically the episodes I've seen is her mother, and her daughter Willow.
Okay,
that is normally who is on. Or some variation.
How old is Willow right now? Is she a young woman, like in her 20s? Or is she younger than that?
Willow is at least 19 or 20.
Okay.
I know her brother just had his 22nd birthday, Jaden. I think he just turned 20. I know the oldest son has got to be like 20, Trey, or they call him Trey.
From his first marriage. I mistakenly watched the Father's Day video for quite a while, so I learned some info there.
See, that's exactly the point, because there's a lot of stuff to unpack here. Just that little 12 minutes that she sat down at the red table.
This 12 minutes that we're going to talk about, that we're like leading into, there's a lot of like reading in between the lines with
there's a lot. So so I saw, you know, so Jada put out, you know, originally they had put out her press people put out a statement, said this is untrue what August Alsina is saying, blah blah blah. You know, and he's like 27 himself now. And I know she's 48.
And I think she said it happened like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So he's a man at the time.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. He wasn't a child. And from what I understood, what I've understood was that August Alsina was actually friends with Jaden. That's where, you know, and he was sick. He had some kind of
right. She vaguely mentions his like family problems.
Yeah, but he was ill. He had some kind of disease. It was messing up his kidneys or something. He was getting real sick. And I know they said his like he had like what they call like jaundice or something coming in. He was real sick when you know, and that's what she was healing him.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah, she was healing him.
Healing him healed her.
Oh God.
Okay, can we just yeah, let's just jump into this because I have. If they start off, sorry. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So he was, you know, he started coming to their home, and you know, they were just friends.
Right, just friends.
And at that particular time, because that's one thing,
hanging out with your good friend's mother as friends.
Yeah, yes, but okay, so. Will Smith actually started to show off and said, because they were trying to go into it, and he said, "I was done with you." You remember that? Put it out there. He said, "I was done with you," and they were laughing. He's like, "Oh," and she was like, "Oh, I know." So it made me wonder. You know, I've heard things about Jada. It's like, is she just is she difficult?
See, you're making me want to jump to the end of the video now, because at the end she
that was okay.
So hold the thing she says.
Well, okay, hold up. You're the female.
If I wrote it down.
So let me. Okay, so what did you? Because I know you're not familiar. You're not watching this as closely.
Not at all. Not at all.
So so as an outsider looking in, you watched it because I said, hey, we got to talk about this on the JillStream. So. what did you think when you watched? And that's fantastic, Michael. Thank you. That's awesome. All right, got your book. That's awesome. All right, but you watched the Red Table. You end up watching more than one episode by accident, but you watched the right episode, the little 12-minute joint. But just from watching Red Table Talk, what did you think?
Well, I thought that that particular episode, the 12-minute episode, was I kind of, well, personally, I found it pointless because who gives a shit about any of this? But also, it's just Jada Pinkett Smith trying to explain away this, I'll say, strange relationship that came, forth, that surfaced. And she said something particularly, she's like, we hadn't talked about it. Like, we ended it, and what?
Okay, yeah, you got
no. Let me see if I've got the note. Oh, he broke communication, and she let it be. So he broke off communication, and she let it be. Yeah, and she didn't understand why this was all coming out now. Like, why would he talk about this when we haven't talked about it together and like healed together over this thing? I can't believe that he would talk about it, basically, is what she was saying. And she's like, but now I guess I have to talk about it. She came off gross.
August Alsina had told Angela Yee that, he was deeply committed to this relationship with Jada, and he gave his all to it, and then he ended up getting his heart broken.
See, I wish I would have watched that or seen that too. I didn't watch that just to get his perspective. I should have. That's my bad. That's my bad.
Yeah. So I was like,
because she just tiptoes around. First of all, what the relationship is, and Will Smith says, "Hey, we're sitting here right now talking about this shit.
Entanglement.
Own it and say what it is. Yeah, entanglement. They said they have all these words to talk about how she was banging this guy." Like these different euphemisms for what was going on.
After she said now here's the thing about that 12-minute episode of Red Table Talk. Within 4 hours of her uploading it already had over 6 million views. I think it has over 16 million now. Like I said, Facebook is very happy with the arrangement that they have with Jada.
And I'm one of the number now because of you.
Because it did boffo numbers. On Twitter, entanglement, #entanglement was trending. And people were just doing little jokes and memes. They had all these memes of Will Smith because there was a couple of shots where he was listening to her and he had these like kind of strange, he was like,
because he's sitting there listening to her kind of talk around this whole issue when I think he was thinking that they were going to not talk around the issue. Or maybe he did. I don't know.
There, yes.
The whole thing was just like, we're just trying to look like we're a cool couple. This is our image. Our image is not tarnished by this, and we're fine. Like that was the impression I got from the whole thing. It's like they didn't want anyone to think that they were gross or weird or just any sort, whatever you could think about this situation that occurred. They don't want you to think that, Will Smith is still Will Smith. Don't think anything else,
Yes, okay. So August Alsina, on his interview, he said that he sat down with Will when it looked like there was leading into something, which obviously Jada addressed in this little 12 minutes.
Yeah, and she made it clear. Yeah, go. I'll say that.
No one gave permission or whatever, and all this.
She's the only one that could, quote, give permission. I thought she was going to say both of them were the only, like August and herself are the only ones that could give permission, but she said she was the only one that could give permission.
Well,
which I kind of thought was also a weird statement as well.
Well, to me, it got very strange because she was trying to be, ain't no man gonna tell me I can do this, blah, blah, blah. And here's the thing. As a guy, I understood when I was watching August, I understood what he was saying because it's like bro code and stuff. I understand. He's like, yo, man, y'all were together. You sure you cool with this? That's not, hey, man, let me get your permission. That's just making sure the other guy, since he's still there, since they have kids, since they are still living in the same home together.
August is hanging around in this house with all of these people. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure, yo, man, she's trying to, we talking like it's gonna go to another level. Are you sure you cool with this? And he's saying Will was like, yo, it's totally fine, man. Go ahead and do you.
They were separated at the time, or Jada makes it very clear she's in a very bad place at the time.
I've noticed a lot of Hollywood people say
they were separated.
They're uncoupling. Yeah, because like I said, right at the beginning of the show, Will Smith said, I was done with you.
Yeah.
He said that. Mm-hmm. So he was like, I was done with you. And I was like, okay.
She straight out comes out and says she wanted to care for August, and like through caring for August, healed herself, which is basically like my affair with this guy. It's not an affair, okay? They're separated, whatever. Everyone knows what's going on. But I guess you could still call it an affair. I don't know, whatever. Call it what you want. Their coupling basically led to
their entanglement.
The entanglement, we'll use the words they use. The entanglement led to Will and Jada's relationship being stronger, and she learned a lot. This is what they're trying to say, or what she was trying to say. I thought, reading in between all the bullshit talk.
There's a couple of, because people just started, there was so many YouTube videos and stuff like this. This is why I kind of wanted to let it breathe. I wanted to wait a week and like, okay, let's get into it and talk about it. I wanted to actually look, because I'm reacting to some of the videos I saw on YouTube where people were talking about it, different things I've seen on Twitter and Instagram. And, people like, well, this is what, I saw some of these like relationship channels and stuff like that. And they were like, well, this is an interesting dynamic. This is a couple that's been together for over 2 decades and they've got children, and maybe the relationship has evolved and changed and they're going in different directions. Because there's some interviews with Jada from like a year and something ago, and Will said the same thing, where she got into a place with Will where, they've been together 20 something. I mean, they've been together like 25 years and they've been married for over 20 years. And so she admitted that she realized that she didn't know him.
Okay.
And Will did an interview about a year ago where he just, he was talking about his wife, and he just realized that they just like different shit. They don't like the same thing. So he admitted,
I think they said that in the video too.
They don't like different. They like different shit, and he actually goes on vacations now by himself because he was trying to. Yeah, they had a conversation where they were just like, he's trying to get her to go on these vacations, and she's more of a homebody, and he's like, man, I want to go travel and stuff. What are you doing? And so that led to other things, because apparently around this time, this is where, I started seeing all the, they were digging into his past. They were digging into, the allegations that after she was doing her thing, he decided to do his thing. And he was doing his thing. He
admits to that at the end of that.
Oh yeah. They alluded. But one of those people that I saw, there was allegations that one of those people was of course Margot Robbie. And she wasn't married to her current husband at the time. They were doing this film called Focus together. That's where they met. So they were, they filmed a lot in New Orleans. They were playing these con artists and pickpockets. And, she was his romantic interest. And there was rumors that Will and Margot were, they were in an entanglement. During this
entanglement.
Time. And then Will, like about 2 years later, they start shooting Suicide Squad. They bring Will on to play Deadshot in that. And of course, they bring Margot Robbie. So he was like, oh, he got his girl flued in. To play Harley Quinn, because he got top billing and all this kind of thing. So, but sometime after that, Margot got married to her husband, and they obviously haven't worked together. They actually said that this was one I saw. These are like little YouTubers that are speculating. They were speculating, so I'm just going off. But I found the content interesting. They were saying,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Well, they were saying that because Will was going to come back and do Suicide Squad 2, and then they said he decided to pull out of the movie once Margot signed back on to play Harley Quinn again, and so he did not want to, because now him and Jada are back.
Mm-hmm. He can't trust himself, I guess, to not go there.
So they was like, I think
that's
is why
weak.
Will
That's pretty weak, if you ask me. Like weak-willed, if you ask me. Unless it's Jada saying you can't work with her. Why would you get out of a movie just because you fucked somebody? Like that's pretty lame.
Because they said he had scheduling conflicts and he really didn't.
So okay, at the end of the thing, Will Smith goes to Jada Smith.
Yeah.
We are in an entanglement.
Yes, they are in an entanglement. Yes. Yeah. I was like, I agree. The whole situation is weird, but I'm going to talk about it.
At the end of it, Will Smith he says like, "Oh, I'm going to get you back." And she's like,
I love that.
She's like, "You got me back." He's like, "I'm going to keep getting basically like I'm going to keep getting you back." Or basically like, "I didn't get you back good enough." And so the whole thing at the beginning, they're saying like, we were separated. Everything was cool, blah, 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 blah. But then at the end, Will Smith's like, I got to get you back for this. So she did do something wrong and it wasn't cool. I thought that was also like, the whole video to me was complete bullshit, frankly.
August said that they had changed their marriage into a love partnership.
Uh-huh.
He called it a love partnership, and
so they live in the same house. They're still married. They're just still don't raising
their children to get. Now I don't know about the sex thing. That's the.
So you're saying they still have sex?
No. That's what I'm saying. I don't. From what it sounded like, what August was saying, that the partnership means that hey, we're going to stay together. We're going to stay married. We're going to raise our children together, but. I can see other people and you can see other people. That whatever that little piece is, because one thing I've noticed in a few episodes of Red Table Talk, when Jada talks about her life, she's talked like she's always not happy. And there's something that, and she even, that was one thing
makes mention of something.
Yes, she's mentioned a few times that she wasn't happy. And there's an old interview that someone clipped up on YouTube from about a year ago. I think he did it with Rap Radar, Elliot over at Rap Radar. It was a big interview. The interview's on, but he started talking about, he started realizing, he can't make her, he's trying to do everything, trying to make her happy. And if someone's unhappy, you can't, you know what I'm saying? He's like, what am I doing wrong? Why aren't you happy?
Yeah.
And she's just not happy and there's nothing you can do about it.
Because she says something like at the beginning of the relationship, he said, what did he say? I don't know if I wrote it down or not, but he said she was like, I didn't think you'd be able, he said something like, I'll love you through anything.
Through anything.
Like through whatever happened. And she said, I didn't believe that at all. I didn't believe that. And he it just sounds like he stayed to prove her wrong.
It reminded me of a relationship I was in where my now ex, she kept doing shit trying to get me to leave. Well, you gonna leave? You gonna leave? And she kept doing that. And I was like, what? It's like, do you want me to break up with you? What are you doing? It seemed like she was doing everything to provoke a response. And not knowing Jada, obviously, it sounded like some of the things that I've heard her say on past episodes of the program and just stuff that she said and stuff that I've heard Will say in certain interviews, it sounds like she was just, she sounded like she had some depression issues and stuff like that. So I was very interested in that because she just kept saying, I just wasn't happy. And she even said at the end of discussing the August Alsina thing that she learned not to go looking for happiness in other people if you're not whole yourself, if you haven't healed. So I was like,
her whole thing was wanting to heal August, which this is like the reading in between the lines weird stuff. Like she didn't really, and she doesn't have to talk about their relationship or what it entailed. Who, that's their business. Who cares?
Right.
But I don't think she wanted to come off as, I don't want to use the word, well, I will use the word. She didn't want to come off as like predatory, you know. She definitely didn't want to go there at all. She was trying to use her words very precisely so as to basically not have to say they had sex, and to tiptoe around this like basically mothering him. Like she wanted to mother him. But she said heal him, you know, which was leading to healing herself and her marriage. Let me see what other notes I have here. Yeah, I mean, I said they obviously can't speak for August, but the whole video was just about them and their marriage. And
he's been tweeting things. He's tweeted a few things. He's like, when you're telling the truth, or when you speak truth to power, and all. He's little weird tweets and stuff without addressing, you know, because he was like, you know, some people were upset with him because he had an album. I guess he had an album or a book or something coming out, and that's why he sat down with Angela Yee. So they was like,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so they were like, okay, so you kept your mouth shut all this time,
yeah,
and now you got something to promote. So now you have decided to drop this bombshell that you were in a relationship with Jada Pinkett Smith. Boom. It goes viral. Obviously, like I said, the initial response from Will and Jada, this is bogus. This isn't true. And then Jada,
did they deny the whole relationship or just the asking for permission part?
The original PR statement said that this isn't true, and you know they weren't gonna address something. Like, I had to read this because they put it, like I said, there was an actual statement that was put out.
I'm sure it was vague language.
And yeah, I was like, she wanted to heal him in a month. Yeah, well, there you go.
She tiptoed around that, but that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it was Hollywood hippie.
Yeah, it was all just a marketing promotion thing so that everyone sees they're cool, their relationship is strong, and they aren't gross people.
Well, it's very clear that they wanted to control the message because she didn't immediately come out and respond. You know, they put the little statement out. It was a brief statement. Okay, it was boom, and then she said, she tweeted out, "I need to take myself to the red table."
She even made mention of that statement because
it was just a one line.
Put that statement out, and it wasn't true. That didn't come from me, or they didn't really speak my words or something. So she had to deny that first statement.
Yeah,
so that she didn't seem like a liar, because she can't be a liar. You know,
she's taking herself to the red table. So yes, at that point, okay, she's taking herself to the red table. And then that's one thing I noticed. I thought when I went to Facebook to check this particular episode out, because people started sharing clips of it. It was all over Instagram. It was all over like Shade Room and stuff. They were like, "Oh, Will and Jada done sat at the table," and I was like, "Oh," and I was just seeing like little 2-minute clips. I said, "I gotta see this." So I thought it was gonna be a full hour episode and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I go on Facebook and it's 12 minutes and like a couple seconds. I go, "Oh, is this a preview? Is there a longer episode coming?" I was looking. I was like, maybe this is just a because sometimes they'll have a, you know, like when Will came on the first time and they were doing, you know, and they took little clips and it was like a little trailer. They were like, "Oh, okay, so you really want to see this episode?" Okay, so I mean, they're promoting the episode. I get it, right? Okay, so I keep seeing these little short clips all over Instagram, and people were making little jokes, and they were like, "Look at Will's face. Look at this," you know, all this kind of thing. And I was like, okay. Let me actually, I couldn't find anything longer, so let me actually watch this and see what's going on. And so this was the episode. It wasn't a trailer. It was the 12 minutes was the full episode.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if anybody has any slight interest in even just hearing what they had to say, just for pure like entertainment, it's pretty short and easy to get through.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was.
If you want to see it for yourself, what they had to say,
absolutely.
I would say, sure, watch it. Otherwise, who cares? Right at the beginning, I think Will Smith was like, or they were like, "We got to talk about this." He said, like, Black Twitter has claimed it as their business.
Yes, there were so many memes, and Lord, you know, they were like, "Fix it, Jesus," and all this. I loved it. It was hilarious. All the memes. Like I said, if if you check, you can check the hashtags on Twitter. Like if you checked out like hashtag entanglement, there was so many.
God.
It was trending on Twitter. She broke Twitter. There was so many people.
That word has a whole new meaning for me now. Entanglement.
Yeah, it's a joke now because there was so many people. And I've seen people, they've taken the wheel, like a steal of Will Smith's face. And I don't know if you spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Not really. I don't follow anything that showed me anything about this. I'm obviously not on Black Twitter, apparently.
Black Twitter is a different place. Black Twitter, because I'm on regular Twitter, but I'm on Black Twitter too. And so Black Twitter is a different space. And the crying Jordan meme. I don't know.
I've definitely seen that.
Okay, the crying Jordan meme. It reminded me of the crying Jordan meme. They were just like, when you wake up and you realize it's 2020, and they got Will Smith just like, sitting there with this sad look on his face. He's like, this is 2020 in one photo,
I thought some of the looks on his face were him kind of looking at her like she was pathetic, frankly. Like there were some moments where he was kind of like, I can't believe I'm sitting here and you are kind of pathetic in the situation. I felt that. I did.
Yes, Margot has denied, and Will Smith has never claimed to have been in a relationship with Margot Robbie. I need to say that as well. It was the gossip blogs and the tabloids that were saying that he was hooking up with her, and they were making it sound like he was just cheating on Jada. And the timeline matches up. The timeline that he was shooting Focus and all this was during the time, because August said the relationship was about 2 years.
Based off of what Will Smith said at the end of that video, he was banging somebody.
Yeah, he wasn't just sitting around going.
That's for damn sure.
Yes, please have relationships with my wife. Have entanglements with my wife, and it's totally fine. But like I said, I thought it was interesting. But yeah, Margot has she and like I said, Will has never dignified it. But the
do you think Will Smith would make anybody he has a dalliance with, an entanglement with, like sign some sort of paper, like you can never fucking talk about this or I'll blackmail your ass?
The non-disclosure. NDA.
Yeah, because he seems like somebody that really wants and needs to protect the image of Will Smith being Will Smith. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't like being in a negative light. He's always Mr. Positive. Will Smith.
Black Twitter is definitely a thing. Black Twitter is definitely a thing. It is different because it's Black Twitter is World Star Hip Hop, Baller Alert, the Shade Room, different places like that, and then it just kind of branches off. There's so many some of these other websites that I go to and just check out, where they post, they post a lot of Black issues, obviously, and then you have influencers and tastemakers, and they're posting stuff. There's like smaller gossip blogs, and they're posting. And they're, honey child, that couldn't be me. I couldn't let my wife do that. Boom, 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 boom. And then it's like, and then you got gay Black Twitter, and it's like you got all kind of. It's all lumped together. Mm-hmm. But I do see Black Twitter is definitely different than mainstream Twitter.
We're just talking about like the content and what people and
Black Twitter has its own different flavor and stuff, and it's obviously more Afrocentric, and they're talking about you'll see a lot more Black Lives Matter hashtags and stuff like that there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Black Twitter is discussing Black issues. They're discussing, like they'll discussing Barack Obama or Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton or Will Smith. They're discussing Nick Cannon was blowing up Black Twitter.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Nick Cannon.
This isn't his first.
Nick Cannon just put out another. He just put out another statement yesterday on Twitter. He's upset because a lot of Black Twitter are upset with him because he issued the apology for the statements that he made on Cannon's class. Mm-hmm. So because he apologized, there was a lot of Black people they was like, brother, we riding for you. Don't back down. Stand on it. And he was like, I think I need to apologize. And so he apologized. Like, why did you apologize? Why did you apologize? So He's upset because of the backlash that Black people are giving him because he apologized for the comments that he made about Jewish people.
God, you can't make everyone happy, obviously, man. Apology or no, racist comments or no, or whatever. I don't even know what the full comment was.
Antonio knows about gay Black Twitter. I know
he's got to keep his finger on the pulse. Okay,
Black people
need to know about what's going
community.
on.
No, gay people are part of the Black community. So I've got Black friends that happen to be gay. I have no problem.
The shock.
Yeah, so I love this one. It was for research purposes. I love that. Yes, it was. Oh, please. I did a podcast called Sexy Party. I am not, you cannot kink shame me. Trust me, I put it all out there. So any kind of freaky stuff.
Antonio doesn't give a shit.
No, that's what I'm saying. If I was gay, I would just own that shit.
Are you a furry, Antonio? Are you a furry? Are you into furry stuff?
That's weird to me, but if you're a furry.
Same. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm like, that's weird. I know some people that like that particular thing, but yeah, that's not something I'm into.
One of my favorite CSI episodes, if anyone likes that, used to watch that show. Love that show.
They
investigate a murder at a furry convention. It's pretty funny.
Oh, what was it? I'm trying to remember. There was one of George Perez, the comic book artist. He goes to an annual BDSM conference in Florida every year. He went like 5 or 6 years in a row, and he proudly advertised this on his blog or whatever. And I was like, George Perez, that dude drew Teen Titans when I was a little kid, and he drew Wonder Woman and the Avengers, and he's going, yes, I'm going to the BDSM convention. I was like,
I'm bringing my ball gag, everyone.
Why is he going? I was like, that would be something I would love to talk to Mr. Perez. He's taken I would like to know how to get in contact with him, because I don't know if he would talk about that, but he seemed to enjoy going to this convention. So I was
do a sexy party episode on that. Talk to some dude.
I was like, hey, I'm curious, because like I said, they're doing bondage and they're doing all these types of things. But that's like I said, if you're into that type of thing, you should own it. Don't the embarrassment and the shame happens because people don't want to own their shit. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think Jada's like, okay, I need to admit that this happened, because he's probably got DMs and screenshots, because that's the thing. Because
that's why Will kept trying. It was like, he's like, you got to say what it was. We're kind of tiptoeing around it too much. If you're gonna own it, fucking own it.
Yes.
I felt like he was like, "Come on, we're talking." He's like, "You're making me sit here." Will Smith's attitude was like, "You're making me fucking sit here and talk about this. Yes. So you better fucking talk about this."
Entanglement.
The entanglement.
Entanglement.
I thought she came off super creepy, in my opinion.
Yes. And here's the thing. Now, there's been, matter of fact, I want to go, one of my favorite gossip blogs was this young lady by the name of Famulous. Famulous is, matter of fact, the rapper Tyga shouted her out. He had this line that said, "Famulous, so dangerous." And he shouted it out in one of his songs. Famulous she was just
FAMULOUS. I am famulous.
But yeah, Famulous, she was competing with like Baller Alert, Shade Room, some of these other gossip blogs, and she was breaking stories left and right, and they were taking her content. She was the one that broke the story that Jamie Foxx and Katie Holmes were dating each other. They kept denying they were in a relationship. She had a photo. Someone had gotten a photo, because she does like a lot of like the National Enquirer, where, hey, if you get a photo and I can use it, I'll pay you. Right. And someone spotted them. They were at a cafe or something out in Hollywood somewhere. They was like, that's Jamie Foxx and Katie Holmes, and they were like holding hands, and they were kind of
just friends.
Yeah. And he took his camera phone out and snap, and he took the photos and he gave it to Famulous. And I think she had video.
Anyone can be fucking paparazzi these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she ran it. She ran it on the Famulous Instagram, which they shut down. She was getting so hot, they were getting her Instagram flagged. she was breaking stories. She was breaking
for
stories.
For what reason? What were they flagged? Like, what's the actual reason for getting flagged?
There are PR firms that their whole job is to disrupt certain media personnel, like people that are, you know, like, okay, they work.
But what excuse did they use to, like,
you used
to pull her material?
You used a copyrighted photo. I know that from Facebook. I remember I did an old video. Michael Jackson's daughter had she had checked into a hospital. So she was going through some depression stuff after that Leaving Neverland documentary that came out. And I was like, oh, I need a thumbnail for the video. I made a video. I need a thumbnail. And I saw one on TMZ and I put it up. And about a month or so, you know, video did okay for me, got a couple thousand views. And all of a sudden I got this strike on my YouTube channel. And it was from this company, and they said the thumbnail that I used was copyrighted. It was from this company, and the whole thing is different photographers take photos for them, and then they buy the photos, and then they syndicate it to places like TMZ and stuff like that for a fee. So I didn't pay that fee.
Yeah.
And I just used the thumbnail. So that's a copyright strike.
It's a watermarked photo.
Oh, man, I got in trouble. And then I had to contact the company. I was like, hey, I'm sorry. You know, it was a mistake. I didn't mean to, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, thank God they took mercy on me and they removed the strike. They took it off because I was like, man, I was in YouTube jail. You couldn't stream for 90 days, all this kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's serious, man. I was like, I just used a photo for a thumbnail.
Like, I'll take it down. I promise. No,
they won't let the video got struck. They were YouTube.
It's gone.
Struck. They did the Zeus bolt of lightning, and they, you know, and they just took it. So the video was done, but the company reached out and they got the strike removed. So I was like, man, 90 days. It's like 90 days and you get a permanent strike and all this.
So did you contact the company personally? The ones that put the strike out and like,
I have to find that. I'll have to do another video on that because they give you the contact information of the company. Like if someone files a copyright claim on you, some people, you can do anonymous flagging on YouTube or Twitch. I know Twitch, they flag people on Twitch as well. And you can do an anonymous flag. So you don't have to give your information. But if you're saying someone is using your copyrighted material, you have to give them your information. Who's claiming that their copyrighted material was used, and how can that person reach out to you and get in touch? So,
and if it's wrong, there's no recourse to fight that if you don't know who's claiming it.
And it's hard to get strikes taken off sometimes. There are a few YouTubers that make videos trying to tell you, okay, if you get a strike, this is what you need to do. And you have to go through different steps. They give you, there's some really good channels that you can look up on YouTube, like type in like copyright strikes and stuff like that. And they'll try to walk you through the process. There's another channel that they were in a lawsuit for almost 2 years because they did a video where they reacted to someone else's video. The original person that made the video filed the copyright against them. YouTube
is this the H3 thing? Whatever their name is, that was I forget what his name is. There was he had a huge.
Yeah,
I think he ended up winning eventually.
Yes, he did. He did end up winning that, but it cost a lot. It cost a couple $100,000 in legal fees.
And that was just another YouTuber person going after him. It wasn't even like a big company.
Yeah, and that's
if I remember correctly. That was like a mess.
But there was another case. There was you know, like I said, this happened. You know, these things happen. There are, if you type in copyright strikes on YouTube, there are people that, like I said, their whole thing is like, okay, so you got struck, you played a piece of music you shouldn't have played. That's why I was like, I used to, especially before I got monetized, I used to be like, I'll come in, hey, let me throw a little rap music in or something. And when you're not monetized, it don't matter. When you get monetized, boy, you don't want that, because if you mess up, then you lose your monetization. And I like being able to get super chats and stuff like that. Yeah, I was like, I like super chat. Super chats are good. I like them. Give me super chats. Thank you. So, or, just the fact that if someone watches this later, there'll be an ad at the beginning of it or something, and I'll get, 5 cents for it, like, hey, I got a nickel. Thank you for watching my ad.
I hope I hope Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith didn't copyright the word entanglement or anything, because we might be.
That would be hilarious. But I would put Will and Jada on blast. I like Will and Jada, but I would put Will and Jada on blast. I'd be showing everything. That would be such great content. I was like, okay, so we're going through day 43 of our appeal against Will and Jada Smith. I'd be setting up a GoFundMe with a legal fund or something like that, trying to get people like, please help me fight this injustice. Please, help me. This is wrong. We were just discussing their red table talk, and here's a super chat from David Bell. Super chats are good. Thank you, David Bowser. Thank you. Super chats are fantastic. I appreciate you. And like I said, if I kept getting those strikes, I wouldn't be able to do that. So that is why it is very important, especially when you stream on YouTube, that you are careful. I've had a couple of I got hacked one time. I was live and I got hacked. And a guy came on. Matter of fact, my buddy from Planet EJOBN, Jamal Baraka, we were doing our podcast. It was an old podcast we were doing called The Dollar Bin. And someone saw the stream link and they typed it in. They managed to get it. They came in and they played adult content on the... Yes, there was a nude woman on my channel. And it immediately got struck, and I got a strike from YouTube. And I tried to appeal it. I said, "You can watch the video. I was clearly hacked." And they was like, "No, you're responsible for what happens on your channel." And there was nothing I could do about it. And
That's was crazy.
It was not good. So it was. Let me see. No, Sargon. Yes, Sargon of Akkad. He had there's been a couple of YouTubers that I have to find.
There's several.
But the H3 one, that was the first of its kind. They actually, I know they're in like law reviews. That particular case is cited because other YouTubers have cited this case as a legal precedent for that. So there are a lot of people that get their fifis hurt because you make fun of them on YouTube.
Right.
And then then they decide, hey, I'm going to flag this person. I'm going to try to ruin them. I've had videos where I'm just talking about comic books get flagged because
fucking weird.
Yeah, I know, but it just all comes down to someone is like, oh, I don't like Antonio. I'm gonna try to make his life miserable today, and they'll just try to. I was streaming with Kanan, and Kanan's drawing comic book pages. Kanan was drawing a page from my comic book, and all of a sudden we were live, and there were like 70 people in the chat, and all of a sudden it dropped down to like 8 people. I was like, what's going on? Because I was still streaming on Periscope and the other platforms, but my largest platform is the YouTube. So, and people were like, Antonio, your video is striking. It's been removed from YouTube. I was like, what? What happened? And then I looked at my email and I got a notice that someone claimed that I had, false copy. And I was like, I got false flag. And so it was an anonymous flag. So I was just like, let's see. Sargon's case helped define what exactly the courts consider transformative. And that's one thing I've noticed in a lot of these. So you got a copyright strike videos. That word transformative is major because there's a lot of people that do YouTube videos and their whole content is just them reacting to shit.
Right.
They take someone else's video, they watch it, ha 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 ha, and then they just, they give their response to it. So Jill,
what's the most infinity version of that? Of someone watching a reaction? Like, is there a Guinness Book of World Records on that? Somebody watching a reaction video of somebody watching a reaction video of somebody else, watching that person watch a reaction video, then you watch that person watch it. So you're watching like someone watch like 10 different reaction videos.
Well, I've seen
has that happened?
Well, there's been a few YouTubers that I've seen kind of have like little back and forth with each other. So what'll happen is the initial YouTuber makes his video and pisses off YouTuber B, and YouTuber B goes, okay, now let me respond to his video. So they take YouTuber A's video, they react to it, but you have to transform it. And so one thing that I've noticed that the majority of the YouTube videos I watch say, this is how you transform a video. So you're watching and then you get to a place and you stop and you respond to, okay, I don't like when they did this, blah, 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 blah. This is what I agree. And then, okay, let's get back into the video. Boom. And then you start watching it again. And then you watch a few more and something else happens, pause it again. Okay, so right here, he says this, blah, blah, blah. That's you transforming the video. If you just watch it straight through and go, hey, hope you like my video, you've stolen their content.
Right.
But if I pause, like if someone could watch this stream here, they could pause it and they were like, okay, well, Jill just said this and Antonio said this. So I don't agree with that. This is what I think, blah, blah, blah. Let's get back to the stream.
So somebody could stream 100% of a video while just pausing in between
and watching and reacting to it.
I find that interesting.
Yes, it is, but it's but you're transforming the video. So but yeah, that's even every frame of well, there you go. But I mean, that's how you transform a video from, at least from the so-called experts that I watch. And I watched a bunch of these videos because, like I said, when I got struck, everybody was sending. There was so many people DMing me like, yo, Antonio, watch this guy. This guy is real good. He's helped a couple people get their content back. And I had over about 300 videos flagged on my channel.
Oh my
and
God.
And it took 8 months of trying to go back and forth with YouTube. And then finally they just said, look, man, we're not giving you the videos back. After 8 months of going, I had a case manager and she would contact me Antonio, we're still looking into your case. It took 8 months for them to finally go, look, Antonio, we're not giving you the videos back. Deal with it. Sorry, you're not getting your stuff back. And I was like, you guys took video. There was a video where I cooked gumbo on YouTube and they flagged it for inappropriate content. But the video was
and that just stands.
Yes.
That's insane.
YouTube has that kind of funny style. That's why I'm kind of hoping that some of these other platforms that are going to start having video content, the only way to make people more honest and accountable is for them to have competition. If YouTube, Amazon at one point was going to come up with some kind of video streaming service, they actually copyrighted a couple of domains and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, okay, so Amazon's about to compete with YouTube. Because there was a period there where Amazon was upset with YouTube because they were trying to stop certain links or something from clicking to the Amazon website. They don't want you to go. They didn't want you to leave YouTube to go to Amazon or something. They were and Amazon was like, whoa, you guys are costing us money. We were making a lot of money from people referring, because I'm an Amazon influencer myself. You know, I have I'm an Amazon influencer. I've been an Amazon influencer for like 2 years. And that is one thing. I'm very aware of. They're owned by Google, so they suck. But we don't have a good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if Spotify gets in the which again they're doing their video stuff will be available next year. So like I said, Joe Rogan is going to be part of that new launch. I don't know if Joe Budden
find that very interesting.
I am curious if Joe Budden, since he already has a Spotify exclusivity deal, if he's going to have video content, because the Joe Budden podcast, which is like generally one of the top 5 hip hop podcasts, whenever you look on the podcast rankings in the hip hop category, Joe Budden is always in the top 5. Joe Budden's podcast, that's he makes millions of dollars off his podcast. So. And this, I don't even think when I listen to it, he doesn't do ad. I don't know how he makes money. I'm trying to see how he makes. I don't know.
Well, if you have exclusive deals, it depends.
They'll pay you for the exclusivity.
Yeah, they just pay. Yeah.
So yeah, because I've listened
to
I've listened to his streams on like other streaming platforms, and he doesn't go, "Hey, here's a word from our sponsor," But maybe I need to listen. I don't know. He may have updated because, like I said, I know I'm on free Spotify, so they do interrupt with ads. So if since I don't have a paid Spotify account, maybe it's different if you have a premium Spotify account.
If you have premium, there are no ads.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they'll probably just go right into it. Yes. Well, I don't know. I'm really sure that Edwin James Olmos would be
What's
way
happening
too busy
with this. I don't even think
I don't even
want to know. I think there's. I have a feeling we don't want to know.
I have to say this, Dr. Johnny Asshole. When we were streaming before, your sense of humor is a bit odd. It doesn't quite translate to the internet. Like I said, it's clearly you're trolling because you were trolling before, but I don't. Normally, a troll is like, haha, okay. I don't understand. Like Edward James Olmos is such a vague. Maybe I'm missing something on the internet. There's a meme or something going around. And I'm not seeing it because he's not trending. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just too old and I don't understand. But
did you mention him on anything?
No, I have no idea. I'm saying, so I'm not getting the joke. Maybe other people in the chat are getting it.
Maybe they're just laughing at us talk about this right now because it's complete nonsense. Like, oh my God, they're talking about this.
Listen, only Joe Rogan's full podcast will be specific to Spotify. Okay, so he's not shutting it because I was like, why would you shut your YouTube down? Because I was like, whoa. But what I am wondering though, David, is because they are doing the video clips. Obviously, Joe Rogan clips his videos and puts them on YouTube. Is he still going to do that, or is he going to have video clips available on Spotify?
Well, that might be something they talk about in a year when that actually happens, or they already have, and in a year he might not have a YouTube channel.
His deal kicks in 2021. I don't know the specific date. I don't know if it's but I've heard him talking about some things on his podcast. Was when he had Bill Burr on. He was talking, like they're already preparing. He's already working with the Spotify people because they have a team. I think they're uploading the old stream because right now you can't find it, and so it's like I guess they're putting. I mean, he's got over 1,000 and something shows. He's got like 14. Yeah, he's got like 14. So I'm assuming they're having to. Although I know from syndicating Sexy Party, they should just be able to take an RSS feed and it syndicates everything. Like if you just have an RSS feed of the audio, it should just automatically, the system should just spider through everything and have everything available to listen. That's how mine works. But as a matter of fact, I'm getting to the place where I'm about to start syndicating the JillStream. So that'll be well, I mean, it'll be on iTunes. I'll have it on iTunes. I'll have it on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. It'll be all those places. That's one thing. I just want. I notice when I do a podcast, I don't want to just. Sometimes when you submit to these other streaming platforms, and you only have a show or two shows, and they're like, "Why are you wanting to be? You don't have anything. You don't have any content."
Yeah.
And so now here's 6 episodes. Like when we get to 10, I'm going to start the process of syndicating.
Cool.
It's like we got 10 episodes. I was like, okay, boom. That way, whatever platform we're on, there's automatically 10 episodes of the podcast to listen to.
Once that happens, we may get a lot of hits on this episode. This about this Pinkett Smith. If they got 16 million views.
Oh my God, yeah, but I'm curious about what the next episode of Red Table Talk is going to be about.
I think it's going to be about something completely different and has nothing to do with that at all.
Because I mean, she's had her, like I said, her mother's on. They've talked about her mother being on drugs and getting clean and all this kind of thing. Yeah, they've had all this, like I said, and it was on one of those shows that she admitted that. After all those years with her being with Will, she just realized that she's like, I don't think I know Will the way I thought I knew Will. That kind of thing. It's like, you're with him for, I've been with him 20 years, and I don't think we don't like the same things. We're just different people. Because like I said, Will's breaking it down. He's saying, hey, she's more of a homebody. I like to go out and travel and stuff. She, like, I'm on, like, I want to go out to rent out a whole club and do a big birthday party for her. And she's rather just like, hey, why can't we just get some food and cake and invite some close friends over and just quiet, intimate. They were talking about that's how JD is. She don't want to be out in public and doing all that, and then some of the things it seemed like Will was into, she just went, Will's like, I want to go skydiving. I don't want to go skydiving. So, Will, matter of fact, his ex-wife, he was going on vacations with his ex-wife. His oldest son's mother. Yes.
Yeah.
He went on some vacations with her. But but see, here's the thing. They go, I remember they did an episode because they wanted Trey to, they didn't want, because Will has these other children, they didn't want him to not feel included. So they reached out to his ex-wife and they wanted her to feel like she was part of the family. I remember they sat down with Oprah and they were talking this stuff. They was like, Oprah always get all the dirt.
Yes. Oprah, sure. But it's still image control.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You don't go on Oprah, control. It's like, Oprah helps you shape the narrative. Like,
exactly.
She helps you shape the narrative. So, there was, there were rumors.
Does Oprah still do shit? Does she have like
on her network, on the own network?
Okay, so that
and I know she had a podcast with SiriusXM. She had a deal with them. Although I think that deal has expired because she's got a new deal with Apple. She's going to be creating content for Apple TV or something now. But I know her and Gail were doing something. They had a podcast. I don't know if that podcast is because I don't hear about it as much anymore. But she'll also do she'll also create like one-on-one interviews. She does like Oprah. What was it? It's called the Master Class. That's what it was. It was like Oprah's Master Class. And she sat down with I know she sat down with Denzel. I thought she interviewed. I don't know if she had Tiger Woods on, but she interviewed people. I think Jamie Foxx was one of them. She interviewed George Lucas, which I enjoyed that. It showed some people got they were weirded out. They didn't know George Lucas was now married to a black woman. They did not know that, and they were like, "Wait a minute, George Lucas is married to a black woman now? I did not know that."
It's funny that people would find it weird, or like
I just
you would just look at George Lucas and like just assume that he would not be married to a black woman. I guess I don't know. Like, why would
I just love I'm always like a fly on the wall. I like to see how people when because especially now when people when something it's like George Lucas said this on Oprah's channel and such, and then they, you see people's like, look at his wife. What? Did you know he was married to a black woman? I was tripping out by some of the comments, and I was like, okay, he's married to a black woman, so what?
That's what I mean. Like,
it was the
hubbub over it's like, okay.
Yeah, and like I said, he's got 4 children now, but the other 3 are adopted. The only biological child that George Lucas has is the one that he has with his wife, and they used a surrogate for her. It's like, they used I saw some pictures where, because George Lucas is like 72, 73, he's in his 70s now, and so he's having to do young father and stuff that you would do with a kid. It was like so he's like, okay, let's go to they went to some amusement park or something. They went out somewhere, and they had a nanny and they had his wife, and they were they were holding the kid. The kid looked like this was like a couple years ago, so the kid's probably like 6 now or so.
Mm-hmm.
But at this time it looked like the kid was about 3 or 4 years old. And they were taking them, to have some fun, amusement park.
And they only had the one kid?
Yeah, they just...
And they need the nanny to go to the amusement park?
Hey, man, rich people. I don't know.
I guess.
They had someone there so that they had someone with them. He's a billionaire. What are you going to do?
It's fucking weird. What can I say? Like, you need a nanny to go with you to the amusement park? You might want to go out somewhere
with your wife. You might.
Why are you at a fucking amusement park with your kid? Like, what What the fuck? Whatever. I know it's a thing. I'm just
I was just
like
weird. I said, this is way above my pay grade because I don't have $5 billion.
Sure, neither do I.
I don't have $5 billion.
Or a child, so what do I know?
I don't have no children, but I don't have $5 billion. So I don't know what the thought process is with Mr. Lucas, because I know his wife, at least when they were with Oprah, I think she was working for ABC. She was like a financial consultant, so I think she would come in and talk about the stuff. But she was like an investment, some kind of journalist or something. I thought she worked for ABC, but she had some kind of career in like film and doing stuff, and I think she did some reporting or something like that. But obviously George Lucas is George Lucas, so they both were working, and so she had this. And like I said, they even the pregnancy was a surrogate, so they brought in a surrogate to have the child. So, I mean, they're busy people. She doesn't have. I don't know.
Sure. She needs that DNA connection to him as well. So
Yeah. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying. So I don't know if she was having problems. Because I think she was about. I mean, because she's younger. I mean, she's like in her 40s now, and
okay,
I mean, like I said, so he's got there's an age gap.
Older, I mean, age gap, but as far as children and stuff, she's also a little older, on the older side. I guess not this day and age.
It's kind of interesting on that, because when you hear George Lucas, he talked about when he adopted his first child, like he was with I'm trying to remember, was it Linda Ronstadt? I remember he was dating someone.
Was he with Linda Ronstadt?
I guarantee you it's the wrong person. He was dating, it was some singer. I thought he was with her because him and his wife, his original wife that he was married to, she was an Academy Award winner. She won an Oscar for editing on Star Wars. Matter of fact, if you go on YouTube and look up how Star Wars was saved in the edit, that she's heavily featured in that, because apparently George had some really wacky ideas of what he wanted to do in Star Wars, and she was like, "This is stupid," and she fixed it by doing things. So she ended up making what would have been a cheesy space opera schlock into one of my favorite things on the planet.
Is it Marsha Griffin or Marsha?
I think that's it. Well, because she's married. Because that was one thing. That was one thing that I've heard in other interviews, that at that time George wasn't sure if he wanted to have children, or maybe he wasn't able, or something. And she wanted, from what I understood, she wanted to have because when they got divorced, she married another guy and she had a baby. So George Lucas's first wife, when they got divorced, she ended up having a baby with somebody else. So she was like, "Yeah, I'm having a baby." So the fact that, but then George Lucas adopted a child, but his new partner, which I thought was Linda Ronstadt, but it might not be, she decided she didn't want to be in the relationship. And so he was like, "All right, well, I'll just do it myself." And that's why he walked away.
He adopted the kid when they were together, or after they had,
I guess they were, from my understanding, this was something that I don't think he.
How does a couple that's not married? You know what? Let's not get into that.
This somebody that's got, at that time, hundreds of millions of dollars. If you're rich, you can. They make. Oh, this guy can provide exceptional care for this guy. Yeah, so it's different. Let me see what Bill Burr and Robert De Niro twice married black women. It was never made a big deal into me. Although I saw a couple months ago that Robert De Niro filed for divorce from his wife. They've been together for like a couple years. I mean, he got
Michael Caine's wife. Oh no, I think she's Indian. Trey, is it Trey?
That was Jet.
Matt Stone also has a black wife of
yes. Matter of fact, let me see. Yeah, because like I said, he's got two adopted daughters and one adopted son, and they all appeared in the prequels. I know they put little makeup and stuff. He had little cameos for them in the prequels and stuff. I think his son was in Revenge of the Sith. I think he was one of the younglings.
I only saw the first prequel and
I
didn't see the rest.
But yeah, all three of his children. I know his daughter was in. I know one of his daughters was at least in in the Phantom Menace. And matter of fact, I listen to I love. Some people hate director's commentaries. I love them.
I like yeah, those are.
Yeah, I love the director's commentaries.
But I hate the Phantom Menace. So
it's like.
No, after I saw it in the movie theater, I saw it and I was like, no, I'm done with the rest of these movies, is what I thought at the time.
Yeah, I went to see Phantom Menace twice.
Oh my God, you paid twice for that piece of shit movie?
What's
wrong with you?
I love Darth Maul. Darth Maul was badass. I loved him. And then I only saw Attack of the Clones once in theaters. Obviously, I got the box set, so I watched those movies at least 10. I will not be buying.
How can you watch those? They're so boring. I only know the first one. And the second and third, I only know the Mr. Plinkett reviews.
And then Revenge of the Sith, which I thought was fantastic. So Revenge of the Sith was incredible. So yeah, I thought Revenge of the Sith was.
And I'm not a fan of any of the Disney ones.
I'll just
put that out there.
See, Michael Show, his daughter was to pick Twi'lek in Attack of the Clones in the club. Ha ha ha. One of them, because like I said, I know one of his daughters at least was in the first movie, because there's a part in the director's commentary. Matter of fact, he was in it. He painted himself. There was one of the movies. He painted himself as a blue alien. He's standing there and he's like, there's me. He was sitting there and they walk by. He was only on screen for like 20 seconds. He was like, oh, there's me. Yeah, and he's going to the next scene. So it's like, oh, so that was George. And then there was like one of the little documentaries where there was footage of him in his makeup, because he was like, yeah. So he had to sit there and get made up as a blue person just to be on screen for like 20 seconds. But
he doesn't do anything else, right? He just kind of stands there and,
Well, he directed all three.
Do everything.
He did direct all three, because originally.
I'm just being bitchy about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, he directed in the original trilogy. He directed the first one, and then he passed off the other two movies to other directors. Although I can't remember was it Marquand? I can't remember. He's a British director. He directed Return of the Jedi, and he said George Lucas got on his last nerves. Oh my God.
Like micromanaging him?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And he was like, why didn't he if he just wanted, because the only movie he didn't micromanage was Empire Strikes Back, because the gentleman that directed Empire Strikes Back was his film teacher at, I think, at USC. He
had some sort of like respect for him.
He left, and that was my favorite of the original trilogy. So yeah, Empire Strikes Back. But I liked all three of the original trilogy, but yes. It was okay, hold on, let me see. Okay, Michael Show's got his kid Jet was the Padawan shot. I told you, I knew his son was one of the younglings that was they did the damage to in the third one. But I know, like I said, his daughters appeared in the thing as well. So I know one of his daughters was, I think one of his daughters one of the handmaidens or something like that. But he made sure his kids had little cameos, and he made a cameo in the three movies. So but yeah, that's one thing. He was apparently like to micromanage. He could not allow, because Empire Strikes Back was so good, but it was actually, when it originally was released, was the least successful of the three movies. It was the first one, and then Return of the Jedi was the bigger success. Empire Strikes Back, which was my favorite, actually did not do as well. They thought, oh man, it dropped off a little bit. They got a nerve. Now people go, oh my God, it's the best one, and it's made. They've re-released it, and everybody's like, oh, it's the best one. But when it originally was released, people didn't get it. It's like Batman, and then Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. A lot of people, when that movie first came out, it was like, oh man, it's too dark, and the Penguin and Catwoman, and oh my God. And now everybody's like, oh my God, it's so dark. I love this movie. So it was just it's Irvin Kershner. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Irvin Kershner was George Lucas's his professor in film school or whatever at USC when he was there. So he did not, they said he was very hands-off, and he trusted Irving. And he left him alone. Matter of fact, Irving actually participated in the director's commentary on my box set, so I love it. So I was like, oh man, got Irving. I think he's still alive, actually. He's like 80-something years old. But he left him alone. But when the British, matter of fact, on my director's commentary on Return of the Jedi, he didn't. I don't even think they got him to participate in it. I'm like, I think that dude hates George Lucas. he came, like I said, he was like,
hey, hell no, I'm not sitting down with them.
Yeah, yeah. He was like, but they actually had Irvin Kershner participate on the Empire director's commentary, and him and George sat down together, and they had some of the actors and different little clips and set dressers and stuff like that. Like you see the little scene in the first one where the stormtrooper accidentally hits his head on all this kind of thing, and it was like, oh, there's a cup there that we forgot to take when we started. You start seeing little things and I was like, stop showing me the mistakes. I never noticed them before. Now I can't unsee it. Is it David Bowser? Empire is generally regarded as one of the best as the best of the original trilogy, but I'm lame, and I always Return was always Return. At one point, I was 8 years old when I saw Return of the Jedi. I went to see Return of the Jedi 3 times in the movie theater. 3.
Wow,
I loved it. Return of the Jedi. That scene where Luke is about to get thrown into the Sarlacc pit, and then he jumps, and then he jumps off the spring. He goes, and then he jumps off the Sarlacc. He jumps off the thing, and then boom, he flips it. Boom, he catches the. It's like, I love that segment, and I was like, oh, it's like my favorite. So
I don't think I have a favorite of the 3. I just like the original trilogy, just kind of like as a whole. I don't really have a favorite of the 3.
See, growing up, I loved Jedi. When I got older, when I got more mature.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When you get older, you have to you either embrace that you love the Ewoks or you shit on the Ewoks.
Oh no, the favorite was the thing that I was saying. I was saying because before Twitter, I used to go on forums. I used to go on theforce.net. Oh man, I used to be on theforce.net.
You are such a nerd, Antonio.
Yes. Welcome again to the Friends at Planet EJOBN. Yes,
we're all nerds here.
I am a black nerd, a blurred. Yes, so
a blurred. I'm a word.
Yes,
woman nerd.
A word. Okay, I guess that would be
a woman nerd.
W-E-R-D. Yeah.
If you're a blurred, I can be a word.
Yeah.
W-E-R-D. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, W-E-R. Word. I was like, Antonio likes Ewoks. I didn't hate the Ewoks, but like there were guys that was like, dude, man, I saw that movie when I was 19. George Lucas shit all over my childhood.
Fuck those Ewoks, man.
Yeah, and George Lucas got very defensive in a lot of the criticism that Return of the Jedi had. He was very upset about it. And then he said, well, I had to take time away to raise my kids because he was like, I'm just too busy, doing. He actually was the guy that George Lucas actually created Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that don't know that came out of ILM. Some of the little companies, he was like, a lot of these movies I was wanting to do, the special effects had to be created from scratch. And so these companies didn't exist. So I had to put my money into creating. So he created Industrial Light and Magic. And there was another company that we now know as Pixar, and then he ended up selling Pixar. I think what was it? The guy that was the Apple guy.
Steve Jobs.
Yes, Steve. Was it Steve? Was it? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, that's right. He was on the board of Pixar, but that's why I was like, he was the chairman of Pixar for I think right until he got cancer and got real sick and everything. But he was obviously he had left. Even when he had left Apple, he was still on the chair of Pixar. And then they started working with Disney and started making all those movies like Toy Story. They started blowing up, and then they were publicly traded, and then Disney bought all the shares, and now they own it. So I was like, Disney,
they own everything.
Yes, but they got Steve Jobs got quite a bit of money, stocks and stuff. But George Lucas, Pixar was started with the company that we now know as I think it was called Lucas something, but because all his companies had some kind of Lucas something in it. But I think it was called something else. But they actually did a documentary on George Lucas. I think it was on A&E. And that was one of the things that they mentioned, that Pixar was started, through him. And then, as his company started growing, he decided to keep Industrial Light and Magic as part of Lucasfilm. And then he kept Industrial Light and Magic, but for whatever reason, they sold Pixar off. I guess he felt like, I don't need both companies. And so he sold Pixar
less stress,
off.
I guess. Yeah.
And then
one less thing to worry about.
Because industrial, I mean, there's still, I mean, look at all the, like, you see the Avengers movies. My God,
it hurts my eyes.
Oh my God, they put in so much work.
Fucking things.
Well, like that
too much
last,
for me.
I mean, as a matter of fact, you know, we were talking about doing like some, well, hold on, it might have been Lucas Arts. Okay, boom. But yeah, he had Lucas this, Lucas that, blah, blah, he had all this. But one thing, you know, we've been talking about, because, you know, I want to watch The Wire with you, Jill. I want to go through season 1, episode 1, all the way to season 5, episode 10. I want to get through every episode and I want to talk about them.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
And so, yeah, I want to do that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I also thought, I said, wouldn't it be great to watch maybe like kind of how we do the wrestling streams, which, by the way, if you enjoy, we did the Wrestling Council last night. If you enjoy that stuff, we will be back here on Sunday on my channel. We are going to be live streaming the horror show at Extreme Rules. We will be, you know, it'll be me, it'll be Comic Book Bob, it'll be Yule, this lovely young lady, and Frank. And Boogie said he might be able to pop in, but no guarantee because he's going to be on vacation with his family. But he may pop in and say hello and then leave. But it will at least be 5 of us here live streaming the horror show at Extreme Rules, and these weird matches that they have concocted, the eye for an eye match.
Literally an eye for an eye. They made that clear.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So I'm a little freaked out by that because they already are showing like when Rey Mysterio's been he's been wrestling, and he has like one of on his lucha mask, one of the eyes, he's got a black patch over one of the eyes. Yeah. So, you know, to sell the fact that and there was somebody that took a picture with him with his mask on Instagram, and he was sitting there like with one eye closed, just trying to, you know, he was selling the fact, hey, I've got an eye injury or whatever. So I was like, okay. So that was, you know, so I'm like, okay, so he's going into this match with only one eye.
I want special effects. If something happens, I want special effects. I said it in the chat last night, but I want Evil Dead style with the eye flying out like on a string, like popping out of his eye, out of his face. That would be the best / the worst thing ever.
Well, I kind of
so bad.
I want Seth Rollins to be the one that loses because he'll have to wear a patch for a little while and he'll look like Snake Plissken. He'll look like,
with his like furry leather jacket.
Yeah, he was like, I was like, oh man, they're doing a snake angle, so he's got you know, so like you know,
he needs something to be cool.
He's doing Escape from New York or something, so he's wearing the eye patch, and then you know he's doing that whole deal. So he's like, Arr. So I was like, yeah, he
needs to add to his character because he can't do it with his personality. So
I gotta be honest,
definitely needs an eye patch.
Well, you know, John Moxley did the eye patch thing for a couple of weeks, and I thought,
it
started getting a little corny at the end. Though
it was super corny.
Yeah, at first I was like, okay, he's selling the eye injury, and then matter of fact, I remember he got people got mad at him when they went on the Jericho cruise. So that was weird. Anyway, okay, so Jericho put your eye out. And then he goes, hey, John Moxley, would you like to come and hang out on my cruise?
Make money on my cruise.
And he was like, sure. I'd love to make an appearance on your cruise, even though you took a spike and poked my eye out. That would be awesome. And then there was some pictures of him dancing they were doing like karaoke and stuff with fans. And he was sitting there and they were like, and I remember Jim Cornette got mad because they were like, wait a minute. So he's not selling the eye injury. And then other people were like, no, there's pictures he was pretending that his eye was messed up or whatever.
I actually find it amazing that Jim Cornette can still sell his gimmick or no of being the old angry man. Like it's just people, including you and others, just eat it up, man.
Oh, I've been a fan of old James E for about 30 years. I mean, even when I was mad, I was like, damn it, he's coming with that tennis racket again. Oh my God. How do you guys let him get away with this? You know, it's like, you know, I'm such a wrestling mark. That's why that's why I love doing the Wrestling Council. Cause you know, I had a couple of friends that messaged me last night. They hadn't watched the show before. And they were like, Antonio, I didn't know that you like wrestling. And I was like, yeah, I've been a fan since I was like, I remember like I was like 6 years old and I watched the Hulk Hogan match and I was done, man. It was like I watched like Hulk Hogan, man, and I was watching these guys, and then I was watching. We had a lot of the Memphis wrestling was here. You know, I'm here in Tennessee, so there was Jerry Lawler was huge down here.
You saw some good shit, or like experienced some pretty cool stuff. I
saw a very young Jeff Jarrett when he was like 22, 23 years old. His father, Jerry Jarrett, was he owned the territory. I know Jerry Lawler owned like 10% of it. That was kind of the deal they had, where Jerry Lawler was acting as the primary booker, and he got like a piece of the territory because he was the main. Jerry Lawler in Memphis was a license to print money. That's why a lot of people was like, wait a minute. Why won't Jerry Lawler go to the NWA, or why won't he go to WWF? He could make so much more money there. And he was making a fortune in just wrestling in Memphis. That was when people still believed wrestling was real. That local Memphis television station, they were having bidding wars between the TV to who was going to get to carry that television program.
The Andy Kaufman shit really
catapulted
him into the main. It's like everybody knew who he was.
He tried to do that.
I love that shit.
I'm trying to remember who told that story. I think it was Gene Okerlund. That Andy Kaufman had reached out to Vince McMahon. He wanted to do that with them, and Vince McMahon thought it was stupid. And then he was just contacting different wrestling promotions trying to get him. And then Jerry Lawler was like, is he trying to make a joke of the wrestling business or what? And then he's like, he thought, okay, even if he's making a goof, if I maybe I'll get a couple of real shots in on him or something, and it'll play good for us. And then so he brought him in, and it went viral before the internet existed. It's like
Andy Kaufman was goofing on it, but because of that, like made him such a like hated figure.
He called himself the
he would just
women's
fight
wrestler.
Women. Yeah,
he was a women's professional champ.
Like if anyone hasn't seen it, like the actual not them on David Letterman, which is also hilarious, but the actual Andy Kaufman matches where he's just such a prick, such a dick. It's perfect.
Oh my
He's
God,
wonderful.
it was so cool. I was like, he was
never breaks character ever in his life. Like it's just great stuff.
But they said Vince realized he made a mistake because the New York papers would rarely cover wrestling. Yeah. And here is Andy Kaufman down in Memphis, and the New York Times is publishing an article about Andy Kaufman like wrestling women, and Vince is like, okay, I may have made a mistake.
Was this senior? This was
Vince after
Kennedy McMahon.
After Vince Senior had stepped down.
Okay,
Vince McMahon had gotten contacted by Andy Kaufman, and he thought it was stupid, and he didn't want to do it. And then he realized that he may have made a mistake.
Can you imagine like the same Vince McMahon of like this era? Like he would begging for any sort of celebrity to ever give them any kind of credibility, and he turned down that. Yeah, well, that's pretty amazing.
He was still like I said, the business was different then, and they were they were doing the family friendly WW because I used to watch WWF Superstars. I was like, WWF superstars of wrestling. And you see Jesse the Body Ventura, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Jimmy Hart, Mr. Fuji, and they had the Sunday morning cartoon, which some of those episodes are still Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling or something.
Yeah, that's on something, isn't it? Is that on Disney Plus? No,
the Rockin' Wrestling, they've got a couple of episodes of it on the WWE network.
Oh.
You can watch it. And they've also got that other cartoon, Camp WWE.
It sucks. I've seen a couple episodes. Yeah. Not my style.
It's made by the guys that do that. What's that show on Cartoon Network where they?
It's Robot Chicken. It's
Robot Chicken, the Robot Chicken guy.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I found Robot Chicken's funny. So let me check. And I watched Camp WWE, and it was a little cringeworthy. I gotta be honest.
That's because the Robot Chicken is funny, like 5-second bits, not like a 20-minute cartoon. Like they're different little chunks of things, which is also kind of why I'm not a Family Guy person. It's too.
Oh yeah. It was like the best was Mick Foley's sock. Al Snow's mannequin head was funny too. What does everybody want? What does everybody need? Matter of fact,
Good. What about with Steve Blackman?
No, but Al Snow, they messed him up. Walmart pulled his Al Snow figure from their toy line because he had head with it, and they said,
and it said head on it.
Yeah, they said you've got a severed women's head. We're not promoting. He's like, no, that's not what the gimmick is. The gimmick is he's got a mannequin head and he's able to talk to it. It's supposed to.
He's insane.
It's not that he's saying yes, let's behead women. That wasn't the. Those are people that don't understand wrestling.
Right. Well, that's people that watch one little clip or see a picture and they don't even know what the gimmick is. So,
you guys are the real marks. You guys are the real marks. Because see, I'm a mark, but I want to be a mark. I understand that wrestling is a work, but I want to be entertained.
I'm like Vicky Guerrero coming out on AEW. I want to boo Vicky.
Yes.
She's an enjoyable figure to hate and boo and find annoying.
Excuse me. Great. But I have that's why I was like, when Boogie was saying he didn't like Vicky Guerrero, I was like, man, I have some great memories of her on SmackDown, La Familia and all that stuff.
Do you also realize she is the only person on her way out to have gotten over at all, like on Stephanie? She got to get over on Stephanie McMahon on her way out. She's like the only person ever to have been able to do that. I thought that was amazing at the time. Like, it was a bad segment, but Vicky got to shove her in mud or something, and it was,
Let's talk about it, because I want to talk about David Bowser. They got Sergeant Slaughter to do episodes of G.I. Joe back in the day. Yes, and that was actually what led to him leaving the WWF at that time for a little while, because he had a separate deal with Hasbro and the toy maker. So he had a separate licensing deal, and Vince thought, hey, we're selling Sergeant Slaughter dolls. We should get a percentage of that. And Sergeant Slaughter was like, no, my G.I. Joe deal is separate from you having a Sergeant Slaughter wrestling. And so he left the WWE or WWF at that time.
Probably one of the inciting incidents that so Vince doesn't let anybody do anything now unless through the WWE, and they make most of the fucking money on it.
When they bring you in now, especially if you come through their developmental NXT, they own everything now. They own.
You're kind of done doing anything.
You have to leave. The only way you're going to get anything from them is so when you leave and you come back, say you go to another, say, okay, I was in the WWE and then I leave and I go to AEW, right? Okay, and then I make myself hot, and then Vince wants me to come. My contract's up. Hey, come back, pal. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
And I was like, boom. So when you come back now you're gonna get a better percentage, because that was something I was talking to Boogie about. Where we were talking about who's over and who's not over. We were talking about, and I was like, dude, we were talking about Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, who apparently is a free agent in about 24 hours. That was something.
Okay.
Yeah, he only had 2 days left. So that was yesterday. So this is today, and Slammiversary is tomorrow. So there's some suspicions that he's going to show up on Slammiversary.
Let's just hope he doesn't show up at Horror Show for some horrific reason.
Well, if he was going to show up at Horror Show, he'd be back as Zack Ryder.
That's true.
So he registered. That was one thing. He went and registered all kinds of new trademarks with the Matt Cardona name. And matter of fact, the new press photos that he's taking, his trunks, they look like the Zack Ryder logo. You know how it had the ZR, but it had that kind of goofy kind of graffiti type font, like ZR and that kind of. But now it's a MC. So he's going by Matt Cardona.
Okay. So
he's going to go back. But yeah, in less than 24 hours, he'll be a free agent, and Slammiversary is tomorrow. So there's a good chance that Matt Cardona is going to show up on Slammiversary. Although that disappoints me, because I was hoping.
That would make me sad.
Yeah, I wanted him to go to be with Cody. That's why I wanted him to go to AEW. But
I just think anyone going to Impact is kind of sad. I mean, I'm glad that it's there for people to wrestle and stuff, but I watched a lot during the dark times when Bischoff and Hogan came in.
Yeah. But I was watching before.
I watched before that too, and it was a quote exciting time, a new Monday Night Wars, but the show was awful. Aces and Eights
Kurt Angle
was
had
awful.
joined. They had Mick
Kurt
Foley there
Angle
a few
was there.
times.
They did the AJ Claire Lynch angle, which is hilarious, but terrible.
But see, then they brought Jeff, which I think that was Jeff Jarrett's second time in Impact when he came back with Bischoff there. That's when he was intoxicated and he went into the ring with Sting.
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, yeah.
Jeff Hardy, I was like, not Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, Jeff Hardy.
No, Jeff Jarrett's best time in Impact was when, towards the end of his run there, like I think before he completely sold out to Dixie or whatever, he was doing this heel angle where he would wrestle, do like karate classes with children, and it was fucking hilarious.
You are not weird, David Bowser, because I was definitely into. Although when she got the breast implants, that was a little much. But
right, do you like Stephanie McMahon? Like, like pre. Helmsley McMahon or post Helmsley McMahon?
I liked her more natural, but she actually sat down and talked about her breast surgery on an interview on WWE Network, and she said,
"Oh, really?
Yeah." She was like, I was coming out of my teens. I had some baby weight. She had some chubbiness, and she had been a little heavier in her teens, and she had really worked hard to get herself. And she kind of wanted to.
She looked like a normal woman. Let's be real, okay? I mean, the divas like have,
she's on television,
0.01% body fat. As same as the men.
That's the thing, though. And you're on television, and people are calling you fat and stuff like that, and it hurting her feelings.
It's got to be tough. Yeah, and you're around these people day in and day out, looking at them. Yeah,
and then it was some of the criticisms were getting to her. And she thought she was a couple sizes too small up there. She wanted to get that addressed and maybe nip tuck a few things and stuff like that.
Oh, did she have other work done too?
I bet that Dr. Miami dude fixed her up real well.
Do you think she's had any face work done?
Her face still looks normal to me.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Natalya Hart, her face looks like a cat
she
now.
Had some work done.
Something. I'm like, why did you make yourself look like that? It's like her
because she loves cats. That's why.
It's weird. And
she's like Maureen Ponderosa on Always Sunny. She's turning herself into a fucking cat.
I was like, Natalya, you were so beautiful. Why are you doing this? And I'm like, hey, I'm sure she's happy and all this kind of stuff, but man, her face looks weird now. It's like, I was watching her with Kanan was here when he was here signing the comics in March, and we were watching Elimination Chamber, and she had a match on there, and we called her Cat Face.
What? I think some of it may be how she does her makeup, because she loves makeup. Like, she's really into makeup and doing the other divas' makeup and like contouring and all this. So I'm wondering if part of it is just, the way she does her makeup.
But it looks like Natalya's face is peeled back. Her face is toed back.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
It looks like it's going, up.
Yeah, I was like, it's at a weird angle. I was like, oh yeah. And she's always wearing the cat ears and stuff. So I was like, girl, you're not helping. You need Queer Eye for a Straight Guy or something, and to help you, they need to coordinate with your fashion sense and get you
fast answer up. For David Bowser is would probably be Bobby Heenan. Fast answer.
To it. That's why I put it on the screen.
Well, sorry, he said fast answer. I'm giving it fast. I will not.
Even though this is your show, I refuse to allow you to.
It's named after me.
It is named after you because you are the human son. Oh no, that's Ethan Van Sciver. Ethan Van Sciver is the human sunbeam. But I was going to say you were the human sunbeam, but Ethan is that's his thing. So I can't.
We'll figure something else.
He's got that trademarked or something. So, but you're the female human sunbeam. but Jill, fast answer. Favorite wrestling match. Now I've got 3.
Well, my fast answer, just off the top of my head, is Bobby Heenan. He's he's classic and it's an easy answer, but he was just also really good. Anybody that
Bobby
can just
the Brain.
Yeah,
Bobby the Brain is definitely there.
And he
Jim
puts
Cornette.
over. Yeah.
Cornette. I love Jim. I love Jim Cornette, and I'm kind of torn because I love, especially when Mr. Fuji was managing Demolition. Oh my God, I love Mr. Fuji. I love Mr. Fuji managing Demolition, but I love the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. And the Hart Foundation. When he was coming out with Bret the Hitman Hart, the Hart Foundation.
I have very mixed feelings about Jimmy Hart.
Oh no!
I kind of love to hate Jimmy Hart because I find him so annoying.
I need to see, can I get Jimmy Hart to come on the wrestling couch?
I blame Legends House a little bit for that because did
Legends
you ever watch
House
that?
Weird. I watched like one episode.
He comes off
Undertaker.
He comes off very unlikable to me on that show. I can't remember the reasons why. It's been years since I watched it, but I remember watching it at the time, just like, I hate Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, Bobby helped make Ravishing Rick Rude.
Kentucky Jim or something, but
Kentucky Jim. You talking about Hillbilly Jim?
Hillbilly Jim. Why did I say Kentucky
Don't go
Jim?
messing with a country boy, country boy, country boy. Don't go messing with a country boy. Don't mess with a country
and Pat
boy.
Patterson were pretty funny on that show, I gotta say.
Oh my god.
Anyway, it has its moments, but it's terrible.
Yeah, well, I remember that.
I kind of love to hate Jimmy Hart.
That first season of Legends House was when Pat Patterson came out as gay.
Came out.
He came out, but I was like, I thought that was there was a lawsuit.
That's why I'm laughing.
That's why I was like, he came out and announced he was gay, and I was like, I thought that was known because there was actually a lawsuit from
the first speaking
wrestler.
Out movement.
Yeah, that was like Pat Patterson actually. As a matter of fact, he was only gone for about a year and a half, 2 years. He left the WWE because someone had filed a lawsuit against the WWF at that time,
right?
Because they apparently Pat was hey, if you want me to push, if you want to push, you want to succeed and make some money in this business, you gotta play ball a little bit. Matter of fact, there's a clip of Rowdy Piper saying that I think he was only like 19 or 20 at the time.
Oh God, what did he say?
He said, "Oh God, I don't know if I could."
Was it racist and or homophobic?
Yeah, well, when he had I remember when he did the half blackface angle, and he was like, "Oh no, it was," and then he also did the coconut thing with Jimmy Souffle. Boy, you couldn't do that stuff now.
And the same with his Goldust feud, there was some, yeah.
But Rowdy Piper alleges, I'm saying alleges, although I believe him, that Pat Patterson fondled him when he was a younger wrestler in the locker room.
I'm not surprised by any stories like that, especially when you hear, or I think we've talked about some of this, or maybe we didn't. Maybe you guys touched on it on the Wrestling Council. I don't know, but there's so many stories of like Randy Orton doing bullshit things, or this person doing bullshit things to each other, to men, and some bullshit things to women, obviously. But like whipping their dicks out in front of each other, and like touch my dick, or like rubbing their dicks on each other. Like, who wants to deal with that shit?
There's a funny story. I wish I could remember the two wrestlers involved, but Jim Cornette. He was down there in Mid-South Wrestling. He was wrestling. I think this is, or maybe it was when I think he was working for Cowboy Bill Watts, and there were two wrestlers. And there was another wrestler that had come in from Japan, and they were saying, the Japanese, they're different. They're, hey, let's pretend like I guess they heard him say something about gay people or something. They were like, hey, let's rib him and pretend like we're gay. And so when he's coming in the locker room, the one wrestler tells the other guy, he said, okay, I want you to get down on your knees and have your mouth open. So when he walks in, he's going to think that you were about to do something to me. You're on your knees and I've got my thing out and, about to insert. He said, I want you to just be on your knees like this as a joke. And so when he walks in the door, he's going to be like shocked, right? Okay. The wrestler walks in the door and the guy is on his knees with his mouth open, and the other wrestler put it in. He actually put it in his mouth.
That's like Cartman shit. Like, unless you're Cartman from South Park, why are you fucking doing that?
So it was a double rib. So yeah.
A double rib of you sticking your dick in a guy's mouth. Oh, would you rib somebody like that?
Oh, dude.
Would you?
No.
I mean, if you
No.
Well, first of all, that's sexual assault. Let's be real, people.
Oh, well, see, this come was on like 35 years ago, though.
What does so?
Oh,
you're telling me a guy sticking his dick in your mouth, you wouldn't want to like fucking punch the shit out of him?
Well, yeah, he did want to punch him and he ran off and stuff.
Or like that's a fucking violation just of my personal fucking space.
Oh, yeah.
At the bare minimum.
But Cornette told that story on his podcast, and I was like, how could you do something like that and still be and not have broken arms, broken ribs? I'm saying, doing something like that I could never. But those guys were like tag team partners, and they traveled the road together and stuff. I guess he got over it.
That's not a fucking rib. That is not a rib. That's something else.
Well,
it's just something else.
It's some of the other stuff. It's like when Mark Henry was talking about some of the racist things that happened in WWE. He talked about some of the problems, like when The Rock was starting to get his push, and I guess he was Intercontinental Champion or whatever, and some of the guys that were in DX or whatever had issues with The Rock, and they went in his locker or his bag.
I'm not a big fan of DX.
Well, they went
just putting that out there as well.
Break it down. But they went in his bag, his gym bag, where he had his lunch. He was doing the meal, and he still does the meal prep thing. You see him when he's on Instagram. He'd be like, "This is me setting up my meals." When he does his work, because he actually counts his calories. He had some kind of like blended vegetables or whatever he was going. And someone took feces and stirred it into his food. And then they sealed it back up and they were wanting him to eat it. And Mark Henry said, "Hey, man, that's bullshit." And then they told him, like, "No, man, don't say nothing. The rib's not on you. It's on him." And he was like, "So you want," and remember, and at that time, The Rock had been his roommate for a while. The Rock lived with, as a matter of fact, on the Vlad TV Mark Henry interview, he talked about the fact that when, The Rock had been at the University of Miami. He had been like a second string guy. He'd come in. He was never a starter. They did win a national championship while he was there. He didn't get into the NFL. He went to the NFL to the CFL. He played like one season, maybe a season and a half in Canada in the CFL. Got cut. He was out of he didn't have any money. He had to come home. He had to come live with his dad, if I'm not mistaken. He came and lived with his dad, told his dad he wanted to get into wrestling business. His dad didn't take him seriously at first. Then he was trying to train with someone else. And then his father talked to him and said, "Okay, if you're going to do the wrestling, I need you to take this seriously." And then at that point, they started working with him. He got some other people to train him. They made a phone call to Jim Ross. And he said, "Well, yeah, he flew down. He actually flew down." And The Rock's told the story. He had $7 in his pocket. Jim Ross took him out to dinner. Matter of fact, in Under the Black Hat, Jim Ross tells this story. He took The Rock out to have dinner or lunch or whatever. One thing Jim Ross talked about was he noticed that the ladies were rather drawn to Dwayne. He was good, big kid, great looking, in great shape, and had the hair. And he was talking about the waitresses kept coming up. He was like, "I've never got this much attention from a waitress." My wife, and then so like it was almost time for the meal to be over, and he was like, "I don't have any money." He's letting them know he don't have any money.
Yeah. So
at that point, and Jim Ross was like, "Hey man, it's on me. I'll pick up the tab here." But he offered him a developmental contract. With the WWF or whatever, and I think they sent him down to down deep South wrestling, which they were doing out of Memphis and different, So there's a lot of guys like R-Truth that got sent down there and stuff like that. So what's my one man band? I Got Kids guy. He was down there.
Heath Slater.
Yeah, Heath Slater. He went to deep South wrestling, but yeah, so they had The Rock there, and then they brought him up. They didn't have NXT at that time, but they were I think it was Florida Championship Wrestling, and The Rock was down there. They had just signed Mark Henry. Mark Henry had a good contract already, and The Rock was on a developmental contract. Imagine that. So Mark Henry was coming off the Olympics and winning all those weightlifting championships and stuff like that. So he got a good contract from the WWF at that time, and so he actually had a place to stay. And The Rock was like having to sleep in a car and stuff like that. He didn't have any, or like any girl that was messing with him, he'd stay at her, go hook up with a girl so you can stay at her place.
Yeah, that's an old guy's trick. Or something.
Yeah. That's an old guy's trick. That's a what was it? The guy was talking about. I saw a guy talking about that's why a lot of good looking guys hook up with fat chicks because she got a place to stay.
They have a large shower. Why? What?
No, you hook up with a fat chick because she gonna let you stay there and stuff. It's like, I don't got no money, I don't got nothing going on, but I'm good looking. As long as I service you, I can stay at your home. Because he's like, what was it? TK Kirkland said that in an interview. He's like, that's why you see a lot of guys get out of prison and they end up with some weird looking fat broad or something because that chick at least got a place to, fat broad with like 2 or 3 kids and stuff because to stay. They get to stay.
I thought it would be that they're like desperate or something.
They're desperate. They're desperate for a place to stay.
No, I'm saying the fat girls.
Yeah, no, they're so I thought that was funny. So, but The Rock, that's how he was getting by. He didn't have any money, and like I said, he even his production company is called $7 Productions because when he had that meeting with Jim Ross, he had $7 in his pocket. That's. I mean, they got an Instagram and everything. Obviously, he's made hundreds of millions of dollars now. He's got a lot more than $7 now. But he's real good. That leaving the wrestling business worked out okay for him. But but getting into wrestling business, he was making at one point like $6 or $7 million a year in the WWF. So
he was super hot for a while.
So at that point, but Mark Henry. He was telling Mark Henry he didn't have a place to stay. Mark Henry was like, well, okay, I just got a little small place, but he let him sleep on the couch. So he said Dwayne was his roommate for like about a year or so. And they became very close friends.
Yeah, of course.
So to this day, The Rock doesn't talk to everybody that he used to work with in WWE, but he still talks to Mark Henry. Mark Henry said he'll call and wish his kids happy birthdays and stuff like that and send them gifts and say Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving. So he was like, I don't take my friendship with he calls him Dwayne. It's always crazy. He's like, yeah, me and Dwayne are cool, man. It was like, I was like, he's The Rock, man. He's the most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
It's always funny to hear because I'm sure we both watch different things outside of the wrestling product. So you hear, especially like Total Divas and stuff. Like the Bellas refer to each other as Brianna and Nicole. Not Brie and Nikki. And Daniel Bryan is obviously Brian because that's his name.
Yeah, Brian Danielson.
Brian Danielson. Yeah, that sort of stuff's funny.
Yeah, I'm like, she's not married to Daniel Bryan. She's married to Brian Danielson.
Right, exactly. She's Brianna Danielson in real life.
So I was like, it's crazy. But hold on, let me get to. I'm neglecting the chat.
She's about ready to pop any day.
Oh now. Yeah. Actually, it's her due date because I think their due dates were only about 2 weeks apart.
They're a few weeks apart.
They found out with it. They're only about
Nikki
11 or 12.
cervix has softened, and Brianna is dilated 1 centimeter. So
they were on
that's
the bump.
Update.
They were just on the bump on the WWE network a few days ago, and they are both. They're
very preggers. Yeah.
Yes, they're very pregnant. Yes, but let me get to chat. I'm sorry, Chad. I'm sorry for ignoring you guys. I apologize. So if you haven't seen it, JRE podcast with Jake the Snake Roberts, which is legendary. I loved it. I actually did a video. I loved it.
I did. I haven't seen it.
I'll check out. Jake the Snake on the Joe Rogan podcast. Oh my God, it was incredible.
It's like, sometimes you hear about things and you forget about things, and it's like, so I got to put that back on the list.
And Yule did not like the ribbed the joke. I agree.
He'd knock him out if someone put their dick in his mouth. Yeah, I'm sure.
If they thought that was funny. Yeah, but guys do. That's one thing. I was never a jock. I hated Jim. My brother was a jock. He was a great athlete and all this kind of thing. I was never good at that stuff. And I was like, and I noticed when guys are in the locker room, we become cavemen. That's
weird to me.
The stuff that guys
why do you become cavemen when you guys? Why do you guys get all super weird when you get naked around each other?
Yeah,
what is that with that?
No, dudes are like running around with jock straps, slapping each other on the ass with towels and doing all kind. People do all kind of weird, homoerotic stuff in locker rooms.
That
and I was like,
wild.
I don't belong in here.
Get me out of here.
I'm fat, and I'm just fat, and I don't want to be in here, and I'm naked. I've got man boobs, and
I don't want to touch any dick.
Oh no, I was in there, and I had to, we all had to take showers, and they was like, I remember I took my shirt off. They were like, his boobs are bigger than my girlfriend's. And I was like, oh my God. And everybody's like, he singled me out. And I was just like,
yeah,
oh my
now
God,
everybody's looking.
Yeah, I was so embarrassed, man.
Yeah,
I was like,
of course.
Oh my God, I hate locker rooms. I hated it. I never fit in. Let me see here. I think that's what afraid. Take it like a man. Oh, no, that is not where it came from. No.
Where did it come from?
I don't know. Mark, sexual chocolate. Yeah. That was my favorite. I actually had that on my phone. Sexual. Oh, I want to give it all.
Father to a Hand with Mae Young. Let's not forget that.
Oh, yeah.
Child.
Did you see the episode where the hand had grown into?
Yes, I was just about to say that.
But
he's like, hi, Dad, or whatever.
I criticized the WWE because I said, wait a minute, the hand should be biracial. Why did they hire a white guy?
How do you not know? Some biracial people are way whiter than you would think they would be. He could have been biracial.
Yes.
Antonio, you don't know that.
Well, remember, I played with this in brand, so yes, I do know that.
So he may have been biracial.
Yeah, the hand. I was like, that hand a little light skinned to be biracial.
Well, but you're saying.
I was like, okay. But let's see. Dwayne Johnson
his curls.
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson
and that stupid
he was Flex
Cabana piece.
They brought him out. I saw there's an old man on Superstars on WWF Superstars. He came and they called him Flex Cabana. He comes out. He was trying to do like the Samoan thing. He was like, and he's coming out and it's like he looked weird because I remember they had the group the Islanders and they would come out like that and I was just like.
Was that the one Rikishi was in before?
Rikishi was one of the Islanders. There were like three guys that were Islanders because.
Yeah, it was like Haku was and
then Rikishi was one, and then the other guy that was with Jimmy Superfly Snuka when he was when that accident.
Was Rikishi Fatu?
I
think he was Fatu.
And then he left and went on the indie circuit. He went to like Japan and he teamed up with one of his cousins or brothers or something. And they were the Samoan SWAT team in WCW. I don't think you could even do that. I bet when they show if those matches are on the WWE network now, they have to because that's the Michael Myers theme song, the Halloween theme song.
Oh, it's definitely changed then.
Yeah, because I've noticed like on some of the ECW stuff, like when Sandman comes out to enter Sandman, they just put some other kind of music into.
I want to say even on the excuse me, the old like WCW stuff, I think Jericho even comes out to his WWE.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Theme.
Yeah,
there's all sorts of weird shit.
They don't have the rights to the music and stuff. So
when we first got the network, I like binged WCW stuff because I'd never watched it. So I just I was watching like pay-per-views in order, and man, I don't really recommend that. Like just straight binging WCW because it got a little crazy.
Hold on, listen. Come on, Antonio. Big girls are usually good at orating. That's the real reason. Well, I'm just saying. I had a couple. I was friends with a few jocks, and they were rather promiscuous, but they always threw a couple of the big girls in there because. The big girls would give them stuff. The big girls would. I saw my boy. He had a couple of girls, and there was this one chick. We were at work together, and he was having this chick. He was taking this chick. Hey man, I'm hungry. Bring me something to eat. And she would just go bring him something to eat. She was spending all kind of. She would go buy him new shoes. She would go She's like, oh my baby just bought me the new Jordans and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, but I saw his other chicks. He had a stable going on. The other chicks were like. In good shape, good looking chicks, right? And but I love big women.
He used them in other ways.
Yeah. So it's like anybody know me. I love big women. I don't have a problem. I'm a big guy. I love big women, so I don't have a problem.
Antonio likes women.
I like women, but I have if you a BBW, holler at me. I'm cool with it. But I'm just saying a lot of these athletes. When Eddie Murphy talked about it on Raw, where you go, wait a minute, you see a woman that looks like she shouldn't be with the guy. It's like, I'm too good looking to be with this chick. And that's why, because a lot of times those guys they're sleeping with her because that girl's got her shit together. She's got a good job. She's got her own place. Her bills are paid. So this is a place where if you need a place to stay and stuff like that, you got to stay home. But these other girls, they may not have as much going on, but they're good looking.
How do you break off a relationship like that, or do you just not if you don't want it to be serious?
I'm gonna be honest with you. A couple of those girls that I'm talking about, they knew that the guy was doing stuff, and they cry about it. And then they'd forgive him and stuff like that. And it was just real weird. And
they have their own issues.
Yeah. It was like they low self-esteem and all this kind of stuff. So that kind of thing. So that's the kind of thing I would see. There was a pretty recent documentary about Chris Benoit. I know the 2 hour Beyond the Mat that they had on what was that on? Truth was
Vice.
Vice. Okay, yeah, that was deep, man. 2 hours. Let's see, there was a good portion of it. It was like, you're talking about the Vice one, yeah, because Chris Jericho narrated. And
okay, one of my favorite things. Shit.
I got you, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm putting it all out there. My bad. All right. Let's see. Locker room antics is probably where well, I'm just saying. Like I said, I didn't belong. I did not belong in the locker room. I was never like the guys that were like frat guys and jocks and stuff like that. I was the guy that was getting picked on. I didn't belong in that. You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy. I'm the nerd that they're finding. Hey, let's pull this guy's underwear over his head. That's me. That's get 3 or 4 guys like ganging up on you doing stuff.
I tried to always stay away from anything like that. I did. In 6th grade, I was sitting at my desk and there's this girl. I won't name her name, but I remember her name to this day. Unfortunately, and she was kind of a bully at the time. And she threw she crumpled up a piece of paper and she threw it on my desk and said, "Throw that away." And I was baffled at the time. I looked at her and I was like, and I picked it up and I put it back on her desk and I said, "No." And then she left me the fuck alone. It was bizarre. I was just like, what the fuck?
I don't think. Excuse me? I'm trying to think. I'm looking at this question from David.
Yeah.
I think Ray
no.
It's another band.
It's a different band. It's a different band altogether.
They kind of have that same kind of cadence and stuff, but no.
Yeah. They're called something. I'll look it up.
Because matter of fact, they got Jeff something. I can't remember. He's the WWE or WWF WWE composer, and a lot of he's been working for the WWE.
Christopher Warren. He performed. He's best known for being the lead singer in and this is exactly what I thought they were named, the DX Band.
Flint Flop. I love Flint Flopsy. Call me naughty farmer. I grow straight freaks. I love that naughty Flop. I wonder if I could get Flint Flossie to come on. It would be hilarious. I follow him on Instagram, and I was like, but it's like, I don't know. If it was 10 years ago, maybe he was like, cute nerd. Who is your favorite wrestler? My favorite wrestler was Hulk Hogan for the longest, and that's what hurt. Hulk Hogan was my favorite, and then I found out about some of his views. And he apologized, obviously.
I really got into wrestling more later in life. So, like, my favorite wrestler for a long time was Chris Benoit. Eddie Guerrero was always one of my favorite. One of my favorite, I think it was a Colt Cabana podcast that I was listening to. That
Colt Cabana.
Oh my God, why can't I think of his name right now? Paul London and Brian Kendrick. Brian Kendrick was
Brian Kendrick,
and he was telling a story about because for whatever reason it was when SmackDown was doing a lot of cool wrestling and tag team stuff, and for whatever reason Benoit and Eddie Guerrero kind of took Paul London and Brian Kendrick under their wing and just taught them like weird like wrestler lessons. It's a pot. You should check that out if anyone wants to. It's interesting. I'm not an Ultimate Warrior fan personally, but I was glued to the screen that WrestleMania weekend because that was the first year that the network was up, and I watched every fucking thing, and then he fucking died.
I loved the Ultimate Warrior when I was a kid. I did not realize that he was perhaps not black friendly either.
He's also not LGBTQ
yeah, he
plus
said some
friendly or whatever.
Yeah,
like
he gave some speeches, and yeah, there's some clips of him saying some rather controversial things. But I was a big fan.
Yeah,
when I was I was a fan of his when I was a kid. He come out and shake the ropes and stuff like that, and I was like, oh my god, dun, dun, you know, played him. There was the video game, the arcade game, WWF Superstars and stuff like that. I loved Ultimate Warrior, but yeah, I did not know he was.
One of my first exposures to non-television wrestling as a kid was we had the Nintendo, classic Nintendo, and I had the WCW game for whatever reason. And like all the characters look the same, but there was like
WCW
Flair
game on Nintendo. It's horrible. The
WCW
it was
game
terrible. On Nintendo was horrible. It was one of the worst. It was one of the biggest pieces of monkey crap on this side of the.
This answer right here, my good guy, that's kind of a cheat, isn't it? Like I can Frankenstein my favorite wrestler together too. But yeah, I'm a fan of all those people except I could care less about Goldberg. I could give a fuck.
No, when Goldberg was in his prime, even though see now, like I can go back when I was like 22 or something, and Goldberg was wrestling, and I was a huge mark, and I knew wrestling was a work. Yeah. But I didn't understand. Now, now I'm 45 and I'm looking at the business and I'm looking and I was like, oh my God, his fundamentals are shit.
Yeah, he's a terrible wrestler.
Terrible wrestler. And I didn't realize that at the time. And I was like, and you hear guys like Honky Tonk Man say that's why, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Ultimate Warrior hurt him. He was so green. He was terrible. And, Honky Tonk Man was like, that's why that match when he beat me for the Intercontinental title was so short because he was shit. He couldn't wrestle.
Yeah.
So just had to, get in, let him shake the ropes, bounce off the ropes. He'll come in, boom, gorilla press slam, boom, 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Crowd goes crazy. And then he goes and runs back out. Boom.
Yeah.
So,
and Honky Tonk Man is like, thank God that match wasn't longer. Get me the fuck out of here.
For a long time that Jerry Lawler was his cousin. Their first cousin.
Yes.
He actually kind of looks like him in the face. You can kind of tell. It's like, he's just a Honky Tonk Man.
I wish I could say I like Sting, but I fucking hate Sting. But I really enjoy, not enjoy, but I like watching and making fun of his Vampiro matches because they're ridiculous. Ridiculous. If anyone hasn't seen them, they're fucking stupid. If you like that shit, it's funny. Sting, yeah.
But yeah,
I get it. I know why people like Sting. I'm just
when he was Crow Sting. When he was Crow Sting, which that was Scott Hall's idea. Scott Hall told him, said, hey, you should paint your face and look like a crow. So Sting gave him credit for that. And he ended up
look like the Crow, Antonio. Okay. Brandon Lee was the Crow, not a Crow.
Now there's been like 7 guys to play that part. Now they try to do a TV show.
I was so into that when it came out. It's like, oh my God, Brandon Lee died.
The first one was I enjoyed it, and then they made all these sequels and stuff like that.
I never saw the sequels.
Of another Crow television show, or I've heard that I can't remember that guy that created the Crow, but I think he still owns it. I think it's creator owned, but
do they do comic books with that character?
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where it originated from. Yeah, of course, that makes complete sense.
I can't remember. Somebody in chat find out who created the Crow, because I can't remember his name, something James something or Jim. I can't remember, but he created the Crow, and he was. It was all at around that time where like Vertigo was huge, like Neil Gaiman was writing Sandman and all. Which, by the way, they released Sandman on what's it? AudioWare? What the hell is that? Audacity? What the hell? I gotta find it. Okay, Audible. Okay, so they released the Sandman audiobook on Audible, and it's incredible. It's incredible. And they got great voice actors on it. So go on Audible and listen. If you like the Sandman,
it's a comic book.
It's a graphic novel.
Yeah,
with mature themes and.
Yeah, but part of the experience are the pictures in it.
It's the voice performances. This is a great audio experience. I enjoy. I wish I could share it with you. No, it's incredible. Neil Gaiman is he acts as a narrator. He like opens it up and I was like, yeah, the Sandman audiobook on Audible is incredible. It's like I've listened to it like 4 times while I've been sitting here packing comics and stuff. And I was like, this thing is incredible. Let me listen to this part again. Oh, this is great. And I was and they got people like Michael Michael Sheen, the guy that was on the show. He was in the Underworld movies as the werewolf leader. And then Masters of Sex. He was on Masters of Sex, and he's on a bunch of stuff. He's Kate Beckinsale's baby daddy. And
I have no idea. I don't know.
They hooked up on the Underworld.
I don't know celebrities anymore these days. I know nobody. Oh yeah, Vampiro was terrible.
It was a horrible
wrestling. But he's pretty. I don't know. If anyone wants to just like watch something pretty outrageous, over the top wrestling with just like wild characters and death, definitely check out the first 2 seasons of Lucha Underground.
And yes, David, Undertaker has been beaten at least twice at WrestleMania now.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since he was defeated. Yeah, David.
The streak was broken by Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
it was broken by Brock Lesnar, and then he also lost to Roman Reigns. And matter of fact, I cannot recommend enough watching WWE The Undertaker The Last Ride, the 5-part series that they did. It's incredible. Matter of fact, there's supposed to be a bonus episode, I hear.
Oh, really?
There is possibly a 6th episode because so many people responded to it. Yes, and see, there's good. Yeah, Undertaker was. Yeah, but he also lost to Roman Reigns, and that match was horrible too. That was Brock actually.
It's an Undertaker Roman Reigns match. What is anybody expecting? It's going to be a fucking shit match. Okay, come on, people.
It was terrible. And so bad. Matter of fact, in The Last Ride, you actually see Undertaker go up to Roman Reigns and apologize to him for the match. You see, that's one thing. I
still haven't watched it. I still haven't watched it.
I know you hate Undertaker. I'm telling you, even if you don't like The Undertaker, to watch The Last Ride, that and Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, as far as sports documentaries this year produced, incredible. Michael Jordan, Last Dance, all 10 parts of that were incredible. And then The Undertaker, The Last Ride, I give it 10 out of 10. I thought it was incredible. It was fantastic. So, I cannot stress that enough. I just think both of those documentaries. And then if you just want to go like wrestling documentaries, go back a few years ago to the one that Andre the Giant, it had Vince McMahon in it, had Hulk Hogan in it, Ric Flair was in it, I think Mick Foley was in it. Yeah, they had Gene Okerlund was in it and stuff like that. And so Andre the Giant's documentary that was narrated by Liv Schreiber, if I'm not mistaken. Liv Schreiber, that show Ray that's on Showtime, although I think it's canceled now.
One of the first things I ever saw him on was Mixed Nuts, which if you're still watching, he'll go ew. But it's one of my favorite Christmas movies for some reasons. I don't recommend it, but he's in it. He plays a cross-dresser.
Liv Schreiber was Sabretooth in Wolverine Origins and stuff like so, but. I actually thought he was a better Sabretooth than the other guy I can't remember that guy that played. It was a wrestler that played Sabretooth the first time. But anyway, it was horrible. Anyway, Jill, this is great.
Started with the Smiths, ended with wrestling.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Stand back up again. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that is the. Why did you choose green? Is that just what you? I mean, it looks nice though.
Well, when Yule was originally doing an order, I said, just get me the gray. But when I saw, I just wasn't really paying super attention. I didn't see the colors when he texted me or something.
Yeah, because I'm getting a shirt too. I'm gonna have to.
But when I saw the green, I was just drawn to it.
Yeah, it looks nice. It's a nice color, and really, and people have been buying the shirts. They've been supporting us.
Cool.
So people that like the Wrestling Council, we appreciate you guys. That have been tuning in every week. We got some incredible numbers when we watched both nights of Fyter Fest.
Really?
That first night, Fyter Fest that we all streamed on my channel got over 2,500 views.
Oh wow!
So yeah, people really supported it. So salute to you guys. I really appreciate it. And Boogie, I know Boogie's got like 2,000 on night too.
Wow,
so
that's
yeah,
amazing.
and so yeah, we're doing more of this wrestling content, people are responding to it. So we've got a lot of new subs. People are DMing me. It's like, yo, man, I saw this old match. You guys should cover this and stuff like that. So I really appreciate everybody that's been watching the Wrestling Council. I'm starting to get comments about the JillStream. They like the JillStream. So
that's cool too.
That's cool. People like you, Jill. That is, sometimes I've tried a few female co-hosts and they don't like them. And I get all kind of nasty messages going, I don't like that. She's a bitch. I don't like that.
Listen, guys, I am a bitch. I can be a bitch.
No,
we can all be bitches. We can all be assholes. We can all be dicks.
I was doing Sexy Party with Anna, and I love doing Sexy Party with Anna because she was like my favorite. I mean, I've known Anna for like almost 12 years now. She's a dear friend, and she won't let me have sex with her, and that's kind of a
another story.
I've tried numerous times and told her I'd send her a plane ticket and stuff like that, or let me come up there. And she was just, she keeps saying, I'm going to come hang out with you for a couple of weeks. And I was like, finally, I'll get laid and that'll be great. But
she's like, no sex.
And then it's like, you know what? She's never said, because I told her, she never tells me no. She was like, oh no, I don't know. I feel weird being naked in front of you. We know so much about each other. And I was like, that's the best part. That's the best part. No,
now we'll know everything about each other.
Yeah. She was like, I would die. She's like, if you saw me naked, I would die. And it's like, she's Jewish and she's got that. She's from, I think she used to live in Yonkers, and she's got that, and she's lived in New Jersey too. So she's like, she's got that kind of, that New York. Oh my God, I would die. I would absolutely die. And it would be, I was like, no, it would be glorious. It would be glorious. I was like,
you might die, but I would live.
But yeah, those episodes, and some people are like, are you gonna bring Sexy Party back? And I was like, I want to bring Sexy Party back. Because it's, I did all that work and it's on iTunes and all this kind of stuff. I want to bring it back, but I don't know. We've got like 20 episodes up.
But what you always say that, but I don't. But why is she doesn't want to do it with you anymore, or you?
Anna doesn't. We had Tara. She was doing it, and but you are absolutely right, Alex. The friend zone is definitely real, and I have been cast into it because. Not to mention Anna likes girls, and she's very open about that. And I was like, I like girls too, so that's fine, But she's like, men are gross.
Yeah, get that thing away from me.
Yeah, she's like, oh God, you guys are so gross. You guys, men are gross. And I was just like, although she was engaged to a guy, she talked about that on stage. She was engaged, and the guy died.
Oh my God.
And then like, she talked about it. She actually cared about him though. I guess she was gonna marry him, but I don't know. They were kind of. I mean, she's had she was on cocaine. She was doing all kinds of stuff, and then she had lived in Vegas for a little while, and she was doing wild stuff out there. I mean, she was the perfect co-host for Sexy Party.
So what happened?
She just
not into it.
She just anymore? Got to a place where she didn't want to do it anymore. But people loved because she would say things that were polarizing. And would piss people off, but that's the best. I hate to say that, but people get more triggered and angry. It's like if I just say something and it's like, oh, that was a nice positive stream. People don't care as much. If she says something, you don't understand. She says stuff that pissed people off. I was getting DMs. There was nasty little comments and stuff like it. People would get, and I was like, I was looking at the views and I was like, whatever she's doing, they were watching just to get pissed off at her.
It's working.
I was like, oh yeah. So yeah, I was like, that was another thing. But I wasn't doing Sexy Party for money. And the good thing I will say about our chat is that when we were doing Sexy Party, they knew that these videos weren't getting monetized, and they would be kind enough to at least throw a little. Throw $2, So I had, did some chats where you make $5 or $6 or whatever. Because even if the video was monetized, a lot of times, you're getting pennies. So if I get like 500 or 600 views on a channel and I look and see how much I only get like 17, 18 cents or something.
It's you'll get this reference, Antonio. It's you're getting a bunch of Jerry Seinfeld Japanese commercial checks. Do you remember that episode? He has like 100 checks he has to sign.
Yeah.
And he gets like a hurt hand. They're like 10-cent checks.
Yeah, but if you're constantly, and that was one that I used to do shorter videos, just like 5 or 10 minutes, try to, because you're trying to work that algorithm and get people to come to your channel. Your channel does grow more when you make shorter videos, but I like these long form conversations. I like these streams. I hear people like, "Oh man, I was working out and I was just listening to you guys and I enjoyed that." Or I'm just sitting here doing my work in my office and I was just, had my earphones on and I was just like listening to you guys.
What happens to the algorithm if, say, like someone watches like half, shuts down, comes back later, watches the second half?
But it does factor in, and I've heard some people say, okay, well, make those videos like unlisted and only keep your short videos. So like you make the videos unlisted and put them on a playlist, and that way they won't come up in the YouTube searches. I don't do that because I'm not working. I'm not making.
Why don't you want them to come up in a YouTube search though? Wouldn't that be a good thing?
Affects, because if you know about the algorithm, like, okay, somebody will find this video. Right now we're sitting at 2 hours and 18 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So so somebody comes in and they watch this episode of the JillStream and they only watch 20 minutes. That hurts me because they didn't stay around. So they're looking when they affect your CPM, they're looking to see, okay, how long, how many people watch your video, how long is that audience retained? And I saw there was a guy, he was explaining it. Once he explained it to me, it made a lot of sense because he wasn't getting the views that a lot of these other bigger, he had like 60-something thousand subscribers, but he was, and for him, his views were like 15, 20,000 views. And some of these other channels that were doing the same kind of content, they might get 50, 60,000 views, but he would make more money than them because his retention, the audience retention on his videos, he was showing his CPM, and his CPM was like $13. And so like just to, so every 1,000 views, he makes $13. That's a substantial when you look, and he had like a couple 100,000 views. So because his content is good enough to keep, he'll make they were like, hey, you shouldn't make long form videos. And he said, the experts say I shouldn't make long form videos, but my audience retention on my long form videos are better than theirs. So for them, they shouldn't make long form videos. But my audience is he had the demographic. He had older. His audience tended to be older, more business minded. They had a higher income. So he had his. When you look at your control panel and stuff, it gives you the geographic location, male, female, age range, because you're answering all this stuff when you're giving Google this information when you're signing up for their services. They're like, you can answer or not answer. So a lot of people do. I'm a female. I'm 26. How much do you make a year? Some people are answering those questions, and he had his DM. His algorithm information was incredible, and he had a very high CPM.
So the people who were tuning into his videos were way more likely to, like, they're not just clicking on it to like, oh, we'll just test this out. They're like, I'm ready to watch a video. I'm going to watch this whole fucking video, sort of thing. They're a more mature audience, let's say.
I know at one point my CPM was averaging about three and a half per 1,000 views. So like I said, when I see this dude, I was like, damn, he's making over $13 for 1,000 views. So his 1,000 views are worth more than mine. So like we both got 1,000 views, but his 1,000 views gonna give him $13. And my 1,000 views, I'll get $3.
Very interesting.
So yeah, so it does, but I mean that's the thing. That's why you got to keep the conversation. So it's like you're someone that can hold a conversation. Anna was someone that could hold a conversation and just say all the weird spicy things that I like, so I could just play off of it and just be me. So she gets my sense of humor. So that was, we're still friends at least, and I talk to her in the in the DMs and stuff. But she doesn't want to shoot and stuff like that. And, it's like but that's the thing. Not everybody's CPM is the same. That's why I'm saying this guy was showing his CPM was $13. That's what I'm saying. I had at one point my CPM was like $305 or something like that. And then I think it's only about $2 now. It's not even, that's what I'm saying. Everybody, it depends on your audience. The higher your audience, the higher people watch your views and retain. That's why you got people. There's a channel I watch, and this dude's making over $200,000 a month on YouTube videos. He makes weekly content. He puts up a video or two every week. They're longer videos too. That's another thing I noticed. His videos are like 15, 20. He's not doing it because they say, oh, don't make a video less than 3 minutes long, and don't make it longer than 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in that sweet spot. So, it's like your video.
It sounds like like you have to know your own audience.
Yes.
Like how your audience is watching your content, basically, and work that.
Because there's system. And that dude, he's doing like 20. He's doing 20-minute video, and I'm looking. He's getting 80, 100,000 views on the video. Somebody's watching that shit.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I suspect if they're watching his cooking videos, they're not just what a lot of people. They'll come in and it's like, okay, so like take this straight. They'll probably come in and watch about 15, 20 minutes of it and they'll move on.
Right.
They're not, you'll get some people like David's been here the whole time in the chat, right? So he's been, so they'll take everybody that watch and they'll just average it out. So that's how it'll work. So, but that's how it works. But yeah, I wish, I know when like Ethan's talking about when he was making the short daily videos, he just streams a lot now. He doesn't make daily content like he used to.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was making those, his channel exploded when he was just making those short Star Wars videos and stuff. Because when I signed up, when I was on Ethan's channel originally, when I joined, and subscribed to his channel, he only had about 3,400 members. He was just talking about comics and stuff. And that's like he started talking about Star Wars, and next thing you know, he had 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000. And thing just blew up. And then now he's just focusing on streaming. So
what are people really upset? Well, besides political bullshit, what are people really into or upset about right now that we should be talking about so everyone watches our... Well, we did Jada Will Smith, so that's good.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, but you may not, you could fast forward through the Will and Jada stuff and hear us talk about wrestling or whatever. It might be something else. It's a gumbo. It's a gumbo. Yeah, it's everything. We just kind of throw everything in there and kind of see
a melange.
And then and also we kind of let the chat, as we're talking along, then the chat contributes. And then we touch on what they're talking about and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of helps. I like
having the chat. I like having the chat.
It would be different, like if it was just me and you talking. Like, say I just filmed this, we just did like a private stream, and I filmed it and then just uploaded it after and just let them watch it after, and you didn't get that audience interaction. That's one thing I liked about Sexy Party. The audience kept growing because people were coming in, and you start, hey, we don't judge you. Whatever you were doing, that's what it was, and we just had fun with it. We just talked.
That's the type of show people will slowly gravitate to and find. Yeah, like non-judgmental. Oh, they're talking about things that other people don't talk about, and yeah, you got to get that going again.
All right, so anyway, so it's time, and now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. Yeah. Anyway, all right, so let me get some plugs in. So if you are watching, we want to say again, thank you to our good friends over at Planet EJLBN. We enjoy having you with us. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you give us a thumbs up or whatever. Also, if you are on another streaming platform like Twitch or something like that, and you're watching this, you can go to youtube.com/AkariPress. It'll take you right to this channel. Please sub. We'd love to have you. And of course, check out the Wrestling Council. It is on iHeartRadio. It's on Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. Still working on. Hold up. You doing the thing. Hold on, I didn't know you were gonna do it. Okay, boom. Yeah, that's the shirt. Yeah, definitely. That is on. What the hell is that website? I wish
Bonfire.
Yeah, it's on Bonfire. Yeah, it's on Bonfire. Matter of fact, check the description for last night's Wrestling Council, and you will see a link to the Heel Yule shirt, and you can see some of the other shirt, the other design, which is the one that Jill has on. But again, yeah, we're on iHeartRadio for that, and thank you guys so much. For there it is. Yule's got it. Matter of fact, hold on, can I pin that to the
thing? Yule's still watching. We retained Yule. How nice.
I think Yule is like a part-timer. And I think he'd go and handle his business and then he'd come back because he went.
Well, he's at work, so
yes, he was actually he was trying to
Though who knows what Twitter conversations he's involved in right now.
Indeed. Hold on. Let me pin this because I want to pin this to the pin message. Aha, there it is. Okay. So I have pinned Yul Carter's message, which is, of course, the bonfire.com/heel, HEEL, and then you got to put the slash in there because it's not, if you got to put the
dash.
slash.
That's a dash. That's a dash, not a slash.
Oh my God.
It's important. There's slashes.
I'm saying it's on the screen there.
It's on the screen.
And then the UEL. Do that, and then that will take you to get to the thingy. Boom, boom, chakalaka. Boom, shakalaka.
Fuel like fuel.
Fun show, back brand 2. Yes, brand way of the gun, but I'm wait, hold up. I don't want to do that yet. Let me do my thing. Okay. So yeah, and that's the talking. Yeah, make sure go to the Talking Balls Network. Matter of fact, go to the Wrestling Council. We got the Wrestling Council on Facebook as well. If you're a wrestling fan, go to the Wrestling Council group. We stream live to that group every week, and we want to have you there as well. So please join us on the Wrestling Council Facebook page as well. We want to be able to reach out to you. And Jill, before I do my closeout, is there anything you would like to say? Obviously, we will be back on Sunday for the horror show at Extreme Rules. We are going to do the pay-per-view, the eye for an eye match, the swap match with Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. We're doing that, so come hang out with us there. That is Sunday at I think it's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, which I guess 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you're on like Planet EJOBN or if you're subscribed to my channel, then you will get a notification because I will set that up and that'll be fun. We will stream right there. And of course, Jill, let you get one last word in before I do the closeout.
Thanks for joining us.
And then
blah, 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 blah.
All right.
I've got nothing to say.
Well, Jill, I've enjoyed being entangled with you at the black table.
Yes, our entanglements are rather enjoyable.
Yeah, we had an entanglement. This is Black Table Talk. So we, teaching Jill about Black Twitter and all this. This is fantastic. So as always, thank you guys so much. We appreciate everybody that comes to this channel and hangs out with us. It's always fun. Everybody that watches us on the other platforms as well. And we love having you guys chime in and chat with us as well. As always, you can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel, all at Akari Press. AkariPress.com will take you to brand Way of the Gun. Me and Kanan White, we're over $26,000. We've got over 500 backers. Thank you guys so much for everyone that has supported this project. And I've got some more backers that are telling me they got their books and they're going to support. So that is fantastic. We'll keep sending these books out. I've got another shipment going out in the morning. Of course, check out brand merch, Akari Press merch on Amazon.com. We've got a store on Amazon, and we are on Teespring as well, and the link is in the description. You can use the code Cyberfrog. You get $5 off your t-shirts, all my horrible wares that I keep procrastinating. I've got like 3 or 4 new designs that I need to add in there. I've just been so busy doing other stuff, trying to pack and do all this
packing
stuff.
Books, man.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, well, these designs can wait out because you have to sit there and set the images up and do all this crap. So I was like, okay, I don't have time for that right now. I need to hire somebody, but that costs money. So anyway. Until later, we'll be back Sunday. JillStream, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Beauty wave.
Flat Earth.